Starting up, and it looks like we are live, Cotton.
Guys, welcome. We're here to an extra special bonus webinar today that literally I'm excited to bring to you. You know, we've talked a lot about, if you showed up last night, you heard about our perfect process, but tonight we're going to talk about doubling down. And if you're listening to me right now, I know there's going to be a little bit of delay. What we're going to do is I want you inside the OMG Ty Facebook group. That's where you're going to be able to correspond with us. That's where we're going to be able to communicate with you back and forth. If you'll just type in at the top, you can see at the top of my screen right now, OMG TAI, OMG Ty. It'll take you right there. We're all waiting around right now. If you're not a member of this group, get inside this group. We're going to approve you right in. And what we're going to do is we're going to be on the pinned post at the top right there. You see all the dollars, doubling down webinar. What I'd like for you to do is just kind of share with me where you're at right now. We'd love to see where people join us all over the world right now. Right now, I'm in beautiful Miami, Florida, and it's very sunny. The weather's amazing. I know that there's snow, there's ice, there's people sliding around, electricity going out, but certainly not down here. And while everyone is taking the time right now to just post where they're from and where they're at, and where we're waiting because there's a little bit of delay, I'm going to say hello to all my co-hosts that are with me today. And then I'm going to turn it over to one of the superstars who's making his first debut on the OMG webinar to bring you a bonus lesson. That's Mike Long. We're going to get to him in a second. But we also have Fletch with us. Fletch, everyone got to meet you and I last night. How you doing today, man?
I'm still kicking it, Cotton. Things are good, man. Great to be back. A couple new people on that I've known for a while now, but I'm excited about tonight. Should be awesome.
Sounds good. And also the new addition that we have tonight, she's been known as Hurricane Liz Herrera. If you've been following Ty Lopez, you know exactly who she is. She's been on the air with Ty multiple times. Liz, how you doing? I know you're right across the street from me, but how's the weather?
It's beautiful day in Miami. I'm super excited. I'm directly across the street from you, so I'm ready to get started, get the party started, and rock and roll.
Sounds great. And we're waiting on one additional guest who isn't here yet, but what we're going to do is I want to talk a little bit about who's going to kind of lead you and weave you through this after I hand it off to him. You know, we're talking about Mike Long, and if you've got a chance to know Mike Long, he's had a very close relationship with Ty Lopez. You've watched his snaps. You've watched the videos. Mike has taught at Ty's home numerous occasions and blown people's minds. Mike's also the founder, one of the co-founders of OMG Machines. He's been around for that. But one of the things I want you to know about Mike is literally, and I'm going to be conservative with these numbers, Mike has sold over $25 million worth of products online. And that's being conservative. It could be 50, 60 million. He could correct me. Maybe he's never added it up before. But I know that since I've been with him, I can add it up, and he sold that many items. This is someone that literally is an expert at all things online marketing. You know, he's one of these people that I think that after everyone's long and dead doing internet marketing, Mike Long will still be doing it. And that's who you want by your side, someone that's going to get longevity. This is our beginning of our 5th year inside of OMG. And I'm honored to introduce Mike Long to you. Mike, did you ever dream that when you started OMG 5 years ago that it would last this long?
That's a good question. No, I never thought about that. I got a little bit of an echo, but it got corrected. Actually, the number is my personal number in sales. If you add it up, is probably, it's really high. It's over $40 million in the last 5 years alone. And then there was a significant amount before that. So I definitely have sold my fair share of really great stuff though. And I want to give people a sense. I have a very strong actually background. My basis, my foundation with online marketing comes actually from e-commerce. And so we're going to be taking you inside of OMG style e-commerce today. It's going to really blow your mind. Cotton, I'm so excited about today's event and honored to be here with you.
Absolutely. You know, we're going to be talking about today. Yesterday, we talked about the different ways that we were able to help you monetize dealing with clients, and you know, and how Google is so important. But what I also shared with you yesterday is something that's very, very, very important. there is the third largest search engine in the world that we're going to talk about today, along with some other things. And Liz, Amazon is that third largest search engine. You know, when people talk about Amazon, you've at this point trained hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people that literally know nothing about physical products, that know nothing about Amazon. And you've had such success taking them from knowing absolutely nothing to them selling just absorbent amounts with physical products. You know, can you just kind of take us through that a little bit? I'd like to know that we're going to be focusing on you a lot, but why is Amazon so hot right now? Why is it so sexy that people want to get into selling physical products? And how have you been able to do it for us?
Well, Cotton, it really is super sexy because of the fact that literally every major brand wants to be on Amazon. Amazon controlled, I think it was something like 49% of the sales. A couple of days ago, somebody posted an article inside of OMG saying that 50% of the sales on Amazon were Black Friday sales was on Amazon.com, which is an insane amount of sales. 50% of the entire internet sales were placed on Amazon.com. And one of the things that I've been teaching people all along is I've been telling people, watch what OMG is doing, because Amazon is a search engine. A lot of people look at it and say, yeah, Amazon's a place where I buy my physical products. But the people that are really making way in Amazon and really the leaders for what ranks within Amazon, they're looking at Amazon as exactly what it is, which is a search engine. And that's the whole basis of OMG, is to look at these major search engines and figure out how we can actually rank on them. And that includes physical products like Amazon. There is no greater opportunity right now than Amazon.com. And then a little bit later, you're even gonna see one of everyone who is on this call, the reason we're on this call, Ty is one of the biggest fans of Amazon.com. And you'll learn a little bit more about my involvement with Ty and the things that Ty is actually planning out for his own business.
Sounds amazing, Liz, and we're excited to hear from you. Mike, I like to know that you've spent a lot of time getting involved in preparing for this webinar. I'm going to turn it over to you, and you and Liz, you guys are the e-com and Amazon experts. It's kind of like the cheerleaders inside of OMG. If you need me, I'll be right here for you.
Amazing, Cotton. And we actually have a curveball coming later on in this event. So this is going to be really, really action-packed. We're going to open your eyes. There's a few things that we want to accomplish here on this event. Number one, we want you to walk away really having a sense of where the money is being made right now with e-commerce online, both on Amazon and off Amazon. We're going to give you both perspectives. Which way is the best way to go? Probably both. And you're going to find out why we're having so many. I mean, it's just really an incredible thing. I don't know how much time you've spent on my Powered by OMG Underground Instagram. It's right here. If you go to Instagram.com/poweredbyomg, and it's just really amazing to me what's going on right now, the amount of money that can be made. I want to pull up a post that I'll be talking about in the next couple of days. This is from Jason Calori, and Jason, I don't know how well again you can see that, but this is more for you to check out later on. Jason turned in this post, and it's just so shocking. Liz, with e-commerce, just in the last few weeks, Jason had one single day in which he made more money in e-commerce sales than the average American makes in a whole year. He made $40,000 in e-commerce sales in a single day. And then he turned right around a couple days later and he made even way more money. He made another day of humongous sales. It was $50,000 in sales in a single day. I mean, it's madness. What's going on? E-commerce is so hot right now. It's white hot right now. People are excited about it. They're excited, but they don't necessarily know how it works. They're maybe starting to hear some of their buddies are talking about it. They maybe somebody jumped on a webinar here or there. We're here to kind of demystify things. We want you to know where the money's really being made right now, and we want to introduce you to the way we do things like a little bit different. In fact, even a lot different with Amazon. And that starts with Liz. Now, Liz, what do I even do? How do I even make sense out of a $40,000 day? And then that's not even enough, a $50,000 day. What's going on with e-commerce right now? Why is it so white hot? Before we get into your story, before we get into how you have success, and you've got case studies for us. You have an incredible presentation. But what on earth is going on with e-commerce? Why is it so like just white volcano hot?
Well, it's really simple, Mike. I mean, we are a digital revolution right now. And as you know, as all the people on this webinar know, we all just love to have things instantly. We all want instant gratification. So that includes our shopping. When I want a book, I want it like right now. It doesn't matter if I'm going to read it 2 years from now, 2 months from now. I want that book right now. Just the fact that the book is sitting in my bookshelf collecting dust, it gives me this sort of instant gratification where I'm happy with the fact that I made a purchase. And Amazon has made that possible because of their Prime system. And basically, for the people that have been living under a rock, don't worry about it. There are some people that do not actually know that Amazon has second-day air available to you if you sign up for Amazon Prime. And what that means to you as a buyer is that you get things with instant gratification. What that means for you as a seller is that now it's become extremely attractive because Amazon handles all the shipping for you, and they ship the products to your customers, making it just a win-win all the way around. You no longer have to worry about fulfilling or sending your customers the product that they buy online, because guess what? Amazon is now teaming up with you not only to ship the product to your customer, but guess what, Mike? You get to leverage all their traffic. They have 400 million credit cards on file, something that I keep saying. I sound like a broken record even, but 400 million people that with just the click of a button are ready to buy the products that you have available for sale if you partner up with Amazon. And never has there been a sexier time than right now to jump in on the opportunity. And for those of you guys that are new to e-commerce, don't worry, e-commerce is just at it's barely a baby, Mike. It's like your baby in the world, and you have all this opportunity available for you now and in the future. So e-commerce is like this little baby that's waiting for growth. So anyone that's not in yet, it's never too late, because right now is the time to get in.
Liz, you said a couple of incredible things, and it's just so exciting for people to be able to be here with you, Liz. Like, what an opportunity to be able to be with somebody who's made as much as $1 million in sales in a single month on Amazon, to where just even to be able to get in a room with you is just an incredible privilege, and people can just learn even so much. So I'm so glad that we had you today. I know you're flying out of the country tomorrow, so this is amazing. There's two things I picked up, and I'm kind of furiously scribbling notes, Liz. One thing that you said I want to get into in a few minutes, but I want people to kind of make a mental note of it. I'm going to bring something up a little bit later because there's a special skill. It really is a special skill that Liz has, and it's made her a millionaire, okay? And it's helped make other people millionaires. And we're going to get into what that is today, okay? It's the kind of the secret to her doubling down. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about reality here, okay? So right now, it's, what is it? This is the second week of the new year. It's 2017, people wanting to make New Year's resolutions, all that kind of stuff. But the week before the New Year struck was the whole Christmas holiday and New Year's. Liz, what were you, where were you from a business standpoint in the last week or so, let's say that last 10 days of 2016, just total rough estimate ballpark, how many customer orders do you think that you got in, just roughly speaking ballpark on Amazon? How many different people all over the country and all over the world place orders with you ballpark in, let's say, like the last 7 to 10 days of 2016?
My ballpark estimate, just off the top of my head, I can actually pull it up in the presentation, but I want to say it's close to 12,000 people.
Okay, so 12,000 different individuals all over the world in that last week or so placed orders, right? And some of these things that you're shipping off are about this big, this big once people get them, but it would be like a bigger box than that, right? We'll talk about that today. And some other stuff that you have, I know, would be in a box that would be about this big. And there's all these boxes. Like, what would 12,000 orders look like? I mean, if I really had to like mentally imagine, would that? I mean, you've been at my place here in Beverly Hills. Would that even fit in my garage? I have a huge 2-port garage. Would that even fit?
I highly doubt it, Mike. I can't not even imagine what shipping 12,000 orders is like. Back in the eBay days, I used to ship out 1 to 200 orders, and I think that was like the most ridiculous amount of orders ever. And I don't even know how I did it. I know that I did it with a lot of ice on my back because of the fact that every day after I did all that work, I would be sore as hell.
Yeah, absolutely. So 12,000 boxes in my mind, as I imagine, it would almost pile up to be the size of my huge house here. Actually, I think that that's actually probably more accurate. So you must have been busting your ass during Christmas, Liz. I mean, oh, holy cow! I can't even believe that you have recovered from shipping out 12,000 boxes. I mean, how on earth did you do it? You must have been working 12 hours a day. Wait a second, you weren't even home. What the hell were you doing like the last 10 days of the year?
I was actually on vacation, Mike. I was on vacation in New York.
And so you were in vacation. You were gallivanting around New York. You were in Times Square taking selfies, going to parties, all this stuff, while all these orders are coming in. I mean, don't you think that if like Liz from years back, like eBay Liz, saw you right now, she would just almost literally be green with envy? Because that's one of the things you were talking about. I want to make it real for people. Amazon has got an army of workers and robots and systems, and they're there just picking and packing and boom, 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 boom. That stuff's going out. And you're in Central Park? Is that real?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. I was just chilling in Central Park and the horse carriage and having some hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa. So now, how is that possible? That's what I want to get to, because I think, as somebody who's watching this at home right now, and I'm trying to picture what people want. And one of the things, to me, one of the allures of getting into internet marketing was the thought of working from home. I mean, even in, I happen to be wearing pants right now. I will verify, I see actual pants on right now. But if I wanted to, I would not have to be actually wearing pants to be doing my point is, there's a thought of a certain lifestyle. And I want people to keep this in mind because Liz is going to start going fast and furious. She's got an incredible presentation. We have worked so super hard behind the scenes to put this together for you. It's going to be like bam, bam, bam. You want to have, your pen and paper, your notebook, and you want to be, because your major knowledge is about to be happening. But let's get back to why like Liz, what's your why? Before we get into how you've made millions on Amazon, before we get to how you've helped others change their stars, where did this all come from? What's your background? Give people a sense of who you are. Where did you get your start? Where did you grow up? What led you to this now today?
I think a lot of it has to do, Mike, is when I grew up in a really poor part of the country. English was my second language, and I always just knew that there was something better out there for me. And the more I told people about it, the more they laughed at me. So that kind of drove me to getting where I'm at now. And as a little kid, I was always trying to sell something, make some money. My $20 allowance, I knew was never going to cut it for me. It was not going to buy all the things that I wanted. So I knew I had to make something for myself. So literally the first thing I thought of is running my own company. And at the time, I couldn't even say what the word entrepreneur was, but I knew that I just wanted a better life. And so from the age of 9, I started to literally just get out there and sell physical products. It was always something that I loved. I went all the way on to selling Pokemon, having my first e-commerce stores that were very successful, and literally selling the crap out of Pikachu. Pikachu was my very first, fell in love with Pikachu instantly with all the money that he actually made me. I will never forget him. He's still great, and I'm thankful for that because I love him. But after that, I had a quick, brief stint with online poker because I just caught a bug for it. But even while I played poker, I knew that somehow I still wanted to have that online business because of the fact that as sexy as poker might sound and as sexy as people like Dan Bilzerian make it seem, it really has its ups and downs. Whereas when you have a product or a physical product that sells day in, day out on a site like Amazon.com or your own website, you literally can almost predict what you're going to make in a given year. There's no roller coaster ride up and down, but you know exactly what you're going to take home. And while you sleep, you make money. You don't have to be around to make that money. You can have employees or you can have an entire team that are doing the work for you. And you can literally be on vacation, just as I was in New York City, while products are already set in motion and snowballing during Christmas. So that's the bottom line. Everybody that's on here, there's a reason that they're on here. They are not happy with how much money they're making, and they want to find an easier way to make money. And I can tell you this much, I've tried a lot of different things. I've had a lot of different business opportunities. but never has there been a better one than partnering up with one of the biggest sites in the world and having them ship all your products to your customers. It's just an absolutely amazing opportunity right now that's perfect for anybody to jump in right at this moment.
Amazing. Well, Liz, I know you've come up with a presentation for us, and just so people who are at home may be thinking, well, is all Liz have a brief stint of poker? Well, she's actually one of the world superstars at it, but maybe we'll get into that as things continue. And I think that we have a stowaway who jumped on, so I'm really, really excited to introduce you to him soon. Liz, do you have your presentation? You want to start bringing us through things, and I'll work with you as we progress through this. I'm really excited to see what you've got in store.
Absolutely. Let me get it going right here. Let me know if you can see my screen, Mike.
I can.
All right. Well, as everybody's already heard, I am one of the coaches inside of OMG. There's a couple other ones of us, but one of the things that we really like to do, and I wanted to make this interactive and fun for people out there, because that's kind of what we like to do at the same time. We like to make money and we like to have fun. And once in a while, this was a game that Cotton actually came up with. It's called Fact or Fiction. But we usually have this once in a while when we want to get people back up to date with what's going on. We want to make sure they've been paying attention, and it's sort of like a review of what we've actually gone over in the training. So one of the games that Cotton has is called Fact or Fiction. So I thought that I would give you guys a sneak peek at this right here at the beginning, just so you can get an idea of a little bit more about me, and just because I like to have some interactiveness. So let's go to get started. So I'm going to show you guys 3 different facts here, and I want you guys to actually think about whether or not these are either fact or fiction. So here is number 1. Number 1 is, and this is a really interesting one, number 1 is I've actually been suspended on Amazon for selling too much. So I want you guys to really think about that. Suspended on Amazon for selling too much. Is that fact or fiction? And you don't have to answer yet. Let me go ahead and put all 3 up here so you can decide which one you think is fact and which you think is fiction. Number 2, Ty Lopez actually asked me to mentor him so he could learn how to sell on Amazon. What do you guys think? Fact or fiction on that one? So think about it, and I'll get the last one up on here. So the last one here is my first profitable e-commerce site was in 2013. And if you paid a little bit of attention early on with what Mike and I were talking about, you guys might actually know the answer to this one. So it's kind of like maybe you were cheating a little bit, but that's all right. But really think about which one you think that is a fact or fiction. Which one is the fictitious one here? And you guys might be surprised by which one this actually is. And some of you might think that I'm actually being a little bit tricky. So let's go ahead and see here which one is fact and which one is fiction. The fictitious one is my first profitable e-commerce site was in 2013. In fact, that is entirely fictitious because of the fact that my first profitable e-commerce site was in 1999, thanks to Pikachu, who, as I said before, I love and adore. He is one of my favorite characters of all time, and it's rightfully so because he made me just under $1 million just for selling Pokemon cards, which Mike Long also did back in the day. So that's the exciting thing. That's why I love him so much. But the reason I'm
that's the only reason?
I'm sorry?
That's the only reason?
Absolutely not, Mike. There's several other reasons. That's one of the many reasons. But again, the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is not to stand here and brag and not to be excited about this or anything else. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is you guys are all here because of this guy. We all follow this guy. We all listen to hear what this guy has to say. And let's face it, this is one smart, and I'll put a bleep there because you guys know what I'm talking about. This is one smart mofo. And one of the things that he actually says and that he's taught, and I've seen his videos, while this isn't an exact quote from him, it's almost that, but he says that mentors are the fastest way to be successful. In fact, they'll teach you things about success no one else can because they've been there. Now, think about this. Going back to number 2, Ty Lopez asked me to mentor him so he could learn how to sell on Amazon. What does that tell you if we know that Ty Lopez is a very smart person and he asked me to mentor him to sell on Amazon? Well, that tells you one really obvious thing. Ty is extremely excited about Amazon, but just what exactly makes him so excited about Amazon? Well, it could be the fact that I've already mentioned this earlier, but Amazon has over 400 million credit cards on file. And if you really think about how exciting that fact is, 400 million people can just click a button and that product will be instantly delivered to their house without having to do anything else. All they have to do is click a single button and they will receive that product almost instantly. If that's not all that got Ty excited though, the other thing that got him extremely excited is the fact that literally you can sell on Amazon without needing to put up a store, without having to have any employees, or guess what? You don't even have to have that much money. In fact, guys, I got started doing this with absolutely no money in my bank account, and all I did is send in all the items that I had in my garage. It was a bunch of books and used books. I sent those in and I started to reinvest the money that I made on that and put it into my actual Amazon account over and over again. So I literally started this with no money whatsoever. And the beautiful thing about this is that I can show you too how to get started with absolutely very little money. And lastly, the most exciting thing of all is the fact that you don't even need to ship these products out to your customers. In fact, as I told you before, when I sold on eBay, day in, day out, especially during the holidays, I would have a sore back from all the bending over and having to tape boxes. Mike knows all about this. He had to do the same thing, except he had it a little bit easier because he had strictly Pokemon cards. I had a couple different things, so I literally had to tape boxes day in, day out, and it was a pain in the ass. Now, all this Amazon opportunity, it just sounds too good to be true, right? I mean, literally, it sounds too good to be true. Like, when is it actually going to end? Well, let me show you a screenshot, guys, of my very first shipment that I actually sent into Amazon. If you notice the date on there, July 3rd, 2013 at the bottom was the very first shipment I sent into Amazon. And as you can see, from the 3rd to the 6th, I sold an item every single day. These are primarily books that I sold. On the second screenshot, you can see that from the 6th to the 9th, again, every single day I sold a product. And guess what? Every single day since then, I've sold at least one single product on each of those days, which is truly amazing. A couple months later, here was my very first Christmas. I had $71,000 in gross sales, which is pretty exciting. I sold 3,000 units. Not bad for somebody who had just been selling online for a couple months. That's just, I couldn't even believe what was actually happening, but I realized the huge opportunity that was before me. As you can see, just as Ty says, find someone who's doing something and do what they say. I have successfully done this. Now, if we fast forward this to 3 years later, fast forward this to the end of 2016, the screenshot that I'm showing you here, I have it marked as product A. This one went from 11 to 111 sales per day in 20 days, which basically was $4,000 in sales on one single product. Keep in mind, guys, I have dozens and dozens. In fact, the most amount of products that I've ever had at a single time was 5,000 products. Can you imagine? This is one of potential dozens and dozens that I now have. And this was a product that we sold so fast, Amazon suspended. And you're never going to believe what exactly this product was. Now, Mike knows exactly.
Now, Liz, I don't want to go past this because what you just showed is amazing. Can we go down and take a look at this bracket? Sorry, there's a little bit of an echo probably from somebody. All right, great. I think we've got it corrected. So Liz, this is blowing me away because I've seen this. You know, I've had the privilege of working in the trenches with you. We've even lived together for humongous 6 months at a time on one occasion. So I've seen you do this over the shoulder. I've seen the magic of it come together. I've seen your behind the scenes work. But this is probably the first time I've taken like a look at a longitudinal graph of your money getting. So if we go back to the very beginning of this, I'm looking at it now myself, and you're right around the $0 mark. It looks like it's September 17th, and it's just for weeks on end, for days on end, it's just hovering. It looks like maybe there's like $10 in sales or $20, or maybe there's $100 in there somewhere. It starts picking up a little bit. I mean, there's a significant amount of money being made here, and then but it's not a huge amount of money. And then right around, what is this, October
9th.
Was that around when we did OMG Live, right? So this is what you actually showed live during OMG Live then.
Right. So the goal with this product, Mike, is we had it in stock for about 20 to 30 days. We were just doing some optimization on it. And our plan was to literally show people live at OMG Live how it took us from the 9th to the day of OMG Live. We wanted to show people exactly how much we could ramp this up to. And so we started the actual marketing on October 9th, which I want to say, how many days before OMG Live was that?
It was like a week.
a week before OMG Live. We wanted to show people what we had so we could show them in person what the actual product had done. And as you can see here, it took a little longer than that to get it really, truly ramped up. It took about a month total.
Yeah, that's a really long time to make a $3,000 a day product there, Liz. Are you kind of ashamed of yourself? That took you like a whole month to ramp up to $3,000 a day? It's kind of weird.
Awful. That's an awful way to make money. $3,000 a day on a single product is the most horrible way. But people are going to be stunned right now, Mike, when I actually show them the real magic that was involved in this.
Yeah, because this is incredible. I mean, like, let's look at this. I mean, you got that it goes from like hovering around probably $30 or $50 or maybe couple hundred bucks in sales, and explodes to 1,000 and then blows past 1,000, even to where it's $3,000, $4,000 a day. To give people a sense, $3,000 a day is right around $1 million a year. So it's not chump change, Liz.
Right. And the other wonderful thing about this, Mike, is people are going to see here in a minute, this is in one of the most competitive markets that there is. And when we added this on September 17th, we did absolutely nothing, and it was already making sales on its own.
All right. Well, anyways, go ahead. I'm blown away by this. I can't wait to see where you go with this.
Right. So this particular product, I'll tell you guys more about it here in a minute. But this product, as I said before, went from 11 to 111 sales per day in 20 days. Now, the other thing about that product that I'll talk a little bit more in a minute was that was a product that literally got us suspended from Amazon, because guess what? That particular product, I accidentally missed the slide here, but that product was a virtual reality headset who had taken down giants such as Samsung and Sony. We were ranking better for keywords than even Samsung and Sony, that Amazon did not believe that I could be the brand owner of somebody that was just taking down some of the giants out there. So they literally shut the account down. They reached out to me, and I am actually right now in the process of proving that I in fact am the brand owner of that actual headset, because it was outselling Sony and Samsung. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background, on this second product, we figured out what we'd done wrong on product one, and we figured out how to sell really well, as you can see by this one. Product B went from 19 sales a day to over 861 sales per day in 25 days. And now this is one single product, guys. It's not 10 products. It's one single product on this particular screenshot. And this product earned a top 200 badge in all of toys, which basically means it ranked just as high as any toy from Lego, Mattel, Hasbro, or any other brands. In fact, it ranked alongside some of the biggest toys this Christmas on Amazon, including Hatch Animals. So this particular product, we use the same process, except we now knew how to show Amazon that we are in fact the brand owner and that no one else could be the brand owner. And this product hit just a tremendous amount of sales in, as you can see here, 30 days.
So Liz, we've got two products here that you put out there, two different products, and both of those products, little old you, a little girl from El Paso, Texas, where only your grandmother believed in you, and you put two products out that were just literally humiliating Samsung, Hasbro, Sony, Mattel, the giants, like just little old you from your laptop, just ticking away on your laptop. And whatever you're doing, and there's a reason why I'm talking about this right now, because this is also some foreshadowing for the second part of our amazing event here. This is really a throwdown. This OMG Amazon doubling down event is going to be incredible, because we're not just giving you Liz, we're going to double down with a guy who I call the equalizer. And this is a perfect time to bring up the equalizer, because both you and Steve and Liz are you yourselves, and then you're showing people how to do this. It doesn't matter. You can be facing off, you can be squaring off in a circle like a UFC fight, and it's like you against like Conor McGregor, and you're just walking away winning. Like, what is going on? Like, Sony is supposed to beat a little girl from El Paso, Texas. That's just the bottom. Like, that's known. Like nobody. If they're like, here's the tail of the tape. Here's Sony. It's $1 billion company. Here's Liz over here. Who's going to win? No one is going to bet on Liz. What's going on?
Right. Well, it comes down to really something super simple, Mike. It's the science behind what is, you're going to see here in a minute. There's a science behind the strategy that I now have in place. In fact, going forward here, there's something even more shocking about this, Mike, that I think you kind of know this, but I don't think I've gone that in depth with you. In fact, I do know you know this. We talked about this. But the single most shocking thing about these two products, Mike, is guess what? I hardly did anything, which is about as the best way I could put it. I literally hardly did anything. And people might be wondering, how is that possible that you hardly did anything? And the fact of the matter is, as I was saying to you earlier, Mike, I have this so down to a science, all because I developed the absolute best way to teach people my process. And that process consists of a few things. Having a unique duplicatable system and being able to teach that system not only to my team, but also inside of OMG. So the big secret behind what you saw in those graphs is the fact that my team did everything and I did maybe 2.5 to 5% of the work. And in a minute, I'm going to share with you my most important aha moment this year, which, as I was just telling Mike a little bit about. But first, how easy and how duplicatable is this system? Well, I wanted to show a couple screenshots, and these are probably the most near and dear to my heart. In fact, in terms of earnings reports, we get a ton of them a day. But the reason I really love this earnings report is because it struck a chord with me, because this kid is about the same age that I was when I wanted to start my very own business. And as you said before, the only person that believed in me at the time was my grandmother. Now, lucky for Max, his parents are inside of OMG and they gave him the videos and he basically ran with it. This is a 9-year-old child who has things to do like karate and a couple other chores that he has to do around the house. But he was able to literally turn $150 into $780 in cash and is currently reinvesting it. In fact, his family is so blown away by his effort and how much he loves this actual process that they wrote this testimonial out to me. And as I said before, Mike, this one's near and dear to my heart because of his age. Reminds me a lot of myself. The second one that I wanted to share with you guys is 20-year-old Josh Hudson, who is a junior at Clemson. So Clemson just won the national title. Josh went really crazy. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Josh. He had to take the day off from work the day after because he celebrated a little too much. So Josh here says, I've learned everything I know by listening to her. And the real interesting thing about Josh is that Josh is from the Ty Lopez crowd, which means that at this point last year, Josh is sitting in the exact same place that every single one of you is sitting in. And that was, he was contemplating jumping into OMG. Well, guess what? He did more than that, Mike. He actually jumped into OMG. Here's Josh in the middle in the green sweater. He sold out of his first product in 2 days. And his first private label product is actually on its way to Amazon. But guess what, Mike? Josh didn't stop there. In fact, Josh took Ty's advice to heart about finding a mentor. And in fact, Josh jumped on a plane to Cabo, Mexico, where I actually had a mastermind, and he paid $10,000 to meet me in person. And I was so blown away by the knowledge that he brought and he came through, that he learned from Ty Lopez, that I literally offered Josh a job. And to this day, Josh is actually working with me. And tomorrow, I am taking him to Puerto Rico to enjoy some sun, some beaches, and he gets to meet Miss Puerto Rico 2006, as we're all going to go and sit on the beach and work on our businesses. And Josh is just really super excited. He's a very valuable member inside OMG. In fact, he's now mentoring people. He's in there making tools and spreadsheets for the OMG community. And he's an amazing, amazing person that I was able to meet just from the same crowd that every single person is on this webinar tonight, the Ty Lopez crowd. So Josh, another one that's really near and dear to my heart. And finally, I wanted to conclude this with showing you guys what that big aha moment was in 2016 that was able to propel those two products and every single product I've launched since then to literally space and beyond. That single aha moment, which Mike was actually talking about earlier, is picking a product. I've really seen now, and I've got this down to such a science, that I know that picking a product is the actual single most important part of the whole process. While it sounds like it's not the sexiest, trust me when I say to you, it is the single most important part part of the whole process. In fact, it's like Ty would actually tell you guys, it's like picking a mentor. If you pick the wrong one, you can lose a lot of time and you can lose a lot of money. But if you pick the right one, you can seriously kick some ass. And so, just to conclude and show you guys what my actual system is going to be inside of OMG New for 2017. This is the entire new mentoring system. It's going to focus on how I sold so much, I literally broke my Amazon. You will gain access to the same template that I not only used to train my team to find those 2 Grand Slam products, but I also have trained hundreds and hundreds of people inside of OMG. You will get that step-by-step laid out for you, and you'll also get the aha moment of 2016 and the exact methods. My team used to rank both my products and now their own products. As you heard, Josh has his own product. The other real cool thing about the 2 products that I showed earlier, Mike, that I wanted to conclude with here is that I wasn't even actually the one that picked the products. That's just how important picking products is. I let people on my team pick those products, just like I'm letting them pick products now. And the less and less involvement that I've had in there, the more involvement I've had in some of my other businesses, thanks to the fact that now they have a copy of my system, which they use to manage all our products. And the final thing that you're gonna get in 2017 for me is week in and week out, I'm going to be there for you to help navigate through those potential forks in the road that we all face, especially us new entrepreneurs. And that is sometimes we just don't feel like we're doing the right thing and we need a little extra push. And guess what, guys? That's what the webinars are, week in and week out. I will guide you through that. And I'm also on Facebook pretty frequently, and I answer pretty much almost any post that has me tagged in it.
Incredible, Liz. We have much more to get to here. First of all, this has already been literally so extremely exciting for everybody. And Liz, I know that you probably have more to share. I want to cut to something here for a second. There's a reason why we had Cotton MC this event today. And one of the things that's going on is that if you're going to get to really, really big success, okay, really big success, I'm not even talking $10,000 a month. I know that $10,000 a month is great success. It is. It is. The first time I hit $10,000 in a week, I felt like the weight of the world came off my shoulders. And then the next week when I made another 10,000, I was on cloud 9. So I know what that's like. Okay. But I'm even talking about getting up into those bigger numbers, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in a single month. I mean, when I first got online, I remember cornering a friend who was already online, and I almost like grabbed him and I was like, man, is it really possible to make 6 figures in a whole year online? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, it's possible. It's possible. Well, what about making 6 figures in a month? That takes one of 2 things: either an extreme amount of luck, which you can't count on and you can't duplicate, or you have to have a method to snowball. I'll say that again. You have to have a method to snowball. Now, Liz was talking about Ty Lopez, and I pulled up, once again, my Instagram, because Liz and I were meeting with Ty the other day ago. And right here, you can see Liz actually going over some secret product selection with Ty. So that's real, all right? That's real. Actually, in fact, just right here, you can see that Ty captioned this video talking about how he's getting coaching from Liz. And you can find that on my Powered by OMG Instagram. And if you listen very carefully, you might even catch some hints as to some of the things that Ty is coaching Liz up in. But, I wanted to call out Cotton's name because there's a sameness in what you just said. Now, Cotton, you had, we were so extraordinarily fortunate that you brought Jordan Belfort, who is the person that the movie Wolf of Wall Street was based on. Jordan Belfort is this absolute Top Gun epic salesperson, but it's not so much Jordan's sales that's the story. I mean, Cotton, when you watch the Wolf of Wall Street, what's the Wolf of Wall Street really about? Like, what's the real story that Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio brought to life? What really happened there?
Well, for me, it's beginnings. You get to see someone that just started out, that was really from nothing and that literally turned things around. And someone that had to create a perfect process, or what Liz calls, her secret sauce. And Jordan created his secret sauce and almost kind of replicated what Liz did. He got his band of brothers together and taught him how to sell, taught him how to replicate. He got and started building and building and building, and he turned it into literally $100 million company within a few short months, within a year and a half to 2 years. And that's snowballing. That's having the perfect process, having that secret sauce. But the problem is, Jordan never shared it with anyone. He waited till years later and wrote it down and shared it with everyone else. And the thing of it is they're getting with Liz things that no one's going to be able to get anywhere, because Liz is someone that makes 95% of her money out doing what she does best, which is selling the crap out of products. And she visits us 2 hours, 3 hours a week and shares everything that her and her team has discovered. And you get that. And when you have a map to a process like that, it literally can save years of time. And that's what it's like being inside of OMG, is you're literally getting a shortcut to information that's not accessible anywhere else from people that are out there making millions of dollars, and you have access to it. And it's only you to put the action to it to make it worth something from there.
You know, Cotton, I took a risk in asking you that because we didn't prepare this particular part of this event. We did a lot of preparation for the event, so we're not just winging it. But a moment in time came up and you said exactly what I hoped that you would say. I want to extract what Cotton just said. There's a core thing to what Cotton said. Did you catch it? Because if you're listening very carefully, and look, you're around Titans right now, so I realize that some of the things that they're saying is so profound, because these are people that are making literally millions of dollars. Cotton and Liz and Steven, you're going to meet him soon. Okay, very, very powerful that they're meeting him. Now, what Cotton said is not that Jordan went out and that Jordan sold $100 million. No, Cotton didn't say that at all. What did he really say? What Cotton said is he got a bunch of his buddies who used to sling pot, and he taught them how to sell it, right? He taught them. Cotton, where are your sales coming from? Like, it's not like you made $11 million this year. So this unbelievable lifetime achievement. I don't even know how to contextualize it for people. Like 1 million is an incredible achievement. 11 million in 1 year, it's just mind breaking. But Cotton, you didn't have to do 11 million in sales, right? You had your own sales force, didn't you? Who's your sales force?
My Salesforce are my clients, which is very unusual, and I don't understand it. If you don't understand my process, it might be a little unusual to people. People that actually are my clients, I turn them into my Salesforce. Word of mouth from very influential and powerful individuals is the best Salesforce you can ever have. Why do I want a fresh out of college graduate who I have to train up, who has zero to no influence, when I have someone like Bob Proctor, who is one of my clients, and sends so many referrals over to me on a monthly basis? That when you turn that influence, when you make someone so happy that you turn that influence into them pointing clients and business over to you, that's a sales force that can't be bought. It can only be built, and that's what we teach you how to do inside of OMG.
It's incredibly powerful, Cotton. And I want people to know that going all the way back to 2014, when you had just only been in OMG for about 6 months, you were teaching this snowballing system inside of OMG. So this is not after the fact. This is not us looking at Cotton having this incredible success and then just making up a reason to happen. Cotton called his shot and he nailed it. Okay. Now, let's relate this back to Liz and what Liz just told you. So here's Cotton. Right? Cotton actually is the one who invited Liz to come and join us, thank God. And there's a sameness to what they're doing. Now, Liz, when you hear about that Cotton built his sales force, when very much just like Jordan Belfort, he trained his salespeople, just like Cotton is training his clients to be his sales force. This skill that you have, this doubling down skill that you have, that's so lethal, that you are not only able to pick products yourself, but the fact that you can teach other people to find these gold mines for you. Can you help people just even try to wrap their heads around how amazing that is?
Yeah, it's really out of this world, Mike. That's the reason that I was able to be in New York a couple weeks ago. After that, I was in Las Vegas. Right now, I'm going to Puerto Rico. Is the fact that I've literally trained people, and these are not people that have college degrees. We got a kid that's 20 years old. He's a junior at Clemson. We got another guy here that is working right alongside me that does not have a college degree. We've got another kid that I picked up that is not even a junior in college. And these are all guys from all different walks of life. We got my sourcing manager who now is a pro at picking things. She literally sends things to me on a daily basis for potential products that I might actually like. And literally, once I see it, like I realize almost every single product that they're showing me is a winner. And that just goes to show you how many product opportunities there are available out there in the world to actually create your very own brand. I mean, literally the second brand that I showed, I outsold almost every major toy company that there was and is in the top 200 of toys. This is a brand that in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm looking to sell at between $30 to $50 million, all because it's outselling big brands like Melissa and Doug, Hasbro, Mattel, and places like that. They're all going to take notice because my little tiny brand that they took for granted is now dominating almost everyone that there is in my actual market. So this is a process that is very easy to teach with people with no skill whatsoever. All they need to have is the desire to want to learn, Mike. It's that simple and it's that easy and it's really that effective.
Now I'm going to get into the backstory of this. This is very, very powerful. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I feel like such a sense of almost obligation and duty to somebody on this event because I'm about to break your effing mind. All right. Now, Liz said at the beginning of this thing, I kind of set this up early. I had an inkling that this might happen. This opportunity might open itself up. And brace yourself because we're not even done. Even after you get this mind blown moment that I believe I'm about to be able to deliver through Liz to you. Okay. Even after that, we're just getting started because Stephen the Equalizer Floyd is about to kick the vault off the hinges when it comes to non-Amazon e-commerce. So we have a lot to share right here today. But I want to go fast and furious here, Liz. Let's get back into poker because I believe that the same skills that led you to turning Dan Bilzerian into your own personal piggy bank, okay, that those are the same skills that you are using to just literally make millions on Amazon and to help others become millionaires on Amazon. I pulled up my Powered by OMG Instagram. You're talking about college students. This, okay, is Igor. And Igor joined OMG. He's 19 years old. He's actually an exchange student. He's an American, but he's an exchange student all the way over in Germany right now. And from his dorm room, in the last 30 days, Igor, because he knows how to pick products, right? Thank you, Liz. $80,000 last month. That's why that big grin on his face, right? You see that big smirk on his face where he's smiling and he's happy? That's what happens when you're 19 years old, living in a dorm in Germany, and you can't even speak the language, and you just know that you made $80,000 where you're going out, you know, and eating bratwurst and drinking steins of you know, beer or whatever it is that you're doing over there. This is an incredible process. Liz, you rose to the height of poker. You got into poker. You kind of said you played it for a little while, but I want to get into this. This is sexy. I think people would love this story. You got into poker and you had some initial success, you know, at the low level where you were able to be pulling down, say 10 grand a month in profit or something like that, got it to like 6 figures. That wasn't enough for you. You went out there, you hunted down knowledge, just like Ty talks about. You hunted down mentors, you paid for advice, you had no problem slipping somebody an envelope with $10,000 to get even one tip that would change things for you. And that vaulted you all the way up. Liz, just so you know, I'll give you guys some fact or fiction. Would you believe that Liz was one of the top 20 poker earners in the whole world 10 years running? Okay, she's actually had incredible success and helped others have success. Liz, poker is about reading people. And the reason you want to read people is if you sit down to the right game, you can get rich, even if you're not even that skillful. Whereas if you sit down to the wrong game, you could be one of the top skilled people in the world and go broke. Now, let's learn a little bit about poker, and we're going to relate that back to Amazon. Can you talk about game selection?
Absolutely, Mike. For people that are out there that do not know, there's a certain type of poker player that you want to play at any cost, and we call him a fish. So you want to be in as many games as possible with as many fish. You want to avoid the sharks, but you want to hunt out the fish. And the really great thing about fish is they're literally everywhere. And there's actually a famous poker saying that goes something like this: if you can't spot the fish in the game, then you're probably the fish. So one of the things that I was actually really good at is I understood that sometime I had to take on a couple giants in order to get into a pond full of fish. So there could have been a couple times where there was tables with even people like Phil Ivey, or one of the top earners that there was in poker at the time, but there was 4 or 5 little fish that made it all worth the while to jump into the game. And it would just be, I would do the best that I could against people like Ivy and things like that, but I would try to play as many possible hands with the fish just to give myself an additional edge. And as you said before, it's very similar in Amazon. You have to pick your games with the fish, but every now and then you have to take on a couple giants like Sony and Samsung and Amazon and not be afraid of them, because by understanding that the giants are in the game, there's a lot of money to be made.
So Liz, let's go back to the VR headset. So let's imagine that these Adidas, Liz got me these, by the way. So let's imagine that these sunglasses here that I'm holding in my hand are a VR headset, right? This is your VR headset. And let's imagine that this spoon right here is a potato spiraler, a potato peeler. Now we've seen you pick this, and this is like $1 million product. This is like a living lottery ticket for you, the VR headset, so much so that you broke Amazon. And let's imagine that this spoon, I'm calling it a potato spiraler. Let's imagine that the best thing for you to do, if you had boxes and boxes of this, the best thing for you to do is not ship them to fulfillment by Amazon, but to call a dump truck and to have them haul it away and throw it in the trash, even though a lot of these are being sold on Amazon. What's going on? What's the difference between the headset and the potato spiraler?
Well, off the top of my head, I can think of all sorts of different companies that want to jump into the headset. In fact, I was just at CES Las Vegas, which for those of you that do not know, is the biggest electronics convention in the world. And one of the things that I noticed that was there was a couple things. I noticed everything was about virtual reality, everything was about wearables, and everything was about robots. Those were the 3 big things that I noticed. So I know immediately that those 3 are trends, whereas the giants have already jumped in. You got Sony, you got Samsung, you got iPhone, Apple right around the corner developing something undercover that they don't want anybody to know about, but they're still involved. Whereas when you think of a potato slicer, I really can't think of any big brand names that actually sell them. In fact, I used to be one of the largest sellers of OXO, and I can't even remember if they actually had a potato slicer. That goes to show you that it's really not one of their big products. I can certainly remember a lot of their other products, but I can't think of a single giant in the potato slicer market.
Yeah, amazing. So here's the thing is, even though there are giants, so you literally are looking for giants. This is kind of weird. Like, most people tell you, go away from competition. You're actually running straight towards it. What's going on?
Right. Well, the fact is, Mike, that my system that I have, it's basically foolproof. It's all inside of OMG, the ranking system that we use to launch our products and to rank them. It's so competitive, and it makes you literally one of the best that there is, that you're far ahead of 99.9% of the people out there. The only people that are the 0.01% are people like Anchor and companies like that are the top sellers on Amazon. You really literally are one of the best out there, so you could sell whatever the heck that you want. So when you see companies dumping a bunch of money into a certain technology, and you are very good at actually ranking products, you can literally take them on, because it's guaranteed that there is a ton of money in that niche.
Liz, I really appreciate, we didn't prepare for that additional segment. I really appreciate you taking the time to help people understand, because people have been told, run away from competition. You're telling us run towards competition. And that is literally an amazing, amazing distinction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Cotton, would you introduce our next superstar?
Yeah, guys, that was so incredible right now. I want you to go back to the Facebook group right now, and I want you to give me #Liz. Liz put on an incredible, incredible presentation right there, letting you see exactly inside of how she makes her money, and it's exciting. You know, anytime you get inside of OMG, there's a lot of different directions to go to. And Liz just showed you, if you want to get involved with physical products, she's going to be the one that you're going to want to follow. And so there's a little bit of delay, but what I want you to do is participate. Give me that hashtag, Liz. Show her your appreciation for showing exactly what she's done. But here's what I want to show you next. We have one of my good friends on here, and, you know, Mike's called him the equalizer. And what we'd like to do for you, but, you know, I don't want to do it unless you want it. How would you guys enjoy feeling like and getting what it's like to be on possibly a $2,000 an hour consultation phone call, getting that inside information about an e-commerce website and what it's like? You know, if you want something like that, all I need is a few hashtag show me's, and it's just like this, hashtag show me. And if you type that in there, if we get enough of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unleash Steven on you. And he's going to give you the same process and tell you what he's able to do. The same thing that he would take and charge as much as $2,000 an hour on an e-com site. Now, it might be over your head, but I can certainly tell you this. It's something that you need to remember, write down, take notes. But if we don't get enough interest in this, there's no point in doing it. So I'm going to come back and check. But what I want you to do, looks like we're getting enough of them in here. A few more and we'll be ready to go. There we go. Some of them, there's a little bit of delay, but they're starting to come in. So without further ado, what I want to do is Steven is all over OMG, but something that he's really kind of been very sneaky about is how good he is at e-commerce. And what we're going to do, because you've asked for it, I'm going to unleash Steven on you right now. Steven, are you with me?
Hey, Cotton, I'm your buddy.
Steven, you've been hiding this skill that you've got from us for a while now, and almost feel like you've been cheating us a little bit. You know that?
Well, you know, Cotton, it's one of those things. Excuse me. You know, when I came on board, you know, I was teaching kind of a specific thing and doing kind of a specific thing. So, you know, nobody asked, and you know, I thought, you know, hey, you know, no point bringing it up. But you know, this year things have really changed, and it's really kind of the perfect storm for what we're about to be talking about. So that's why I kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit.
Steven, I'm gonna turn it over to you. It's always exciting to hear you talk. I don't think these people, they need to nail down their shorts for this one, because I think you're gonna blow away some people, even though it might be over some people's heads right now. They want to know what it's like for an expert like you to sit down with a Fortune 500 company and what it feels like. So Steven, take it away, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to show today, guys, like Cotton said, I'm gonna show you exactly something that I do very commonly, actually, for consulting clients for e-commerce. So I actually own e-commerce stores myself, but I consult a lot. Okay, so there's a lot of companies that pay me to help them with pretty much every aspect of e-commerce, everything from getting traffic to increasing conversions and things like that. And so the lesson I'm going to show you today, again, if you're watching and it kind of goes over your head, just bear with me. But I just want to give you like a small taste of the kind of information that we have inside of OMG. And so let me go ahead and share the screen here. All right. Cotton, can you see my dashboard here?
Yes, I can see.
All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to show you, again, one of the most common things that I do in consulting, and something that I do 100% of the time for my own sites. So what I've done here is I have used a tool that is exclusive to OMG. It's called Command Center. And I have a client who sells air filters, okay? And so this particular client was having some trouble with traffic. They were getting sales, and then the sales kind of started to decline. And so they wanted to bring me on board to see if they could remedy that. And so what I've done here, I've put this keyword air filter into the tool, and all it's done is it's gone out and it's showing me who is on page 1 right now of Google, okay, for this term. All right, so that's all that we're looking at in this screen. So what I have now is, you know, I want to tie this into what Mike and Liz were saying earlier, because I think it's important, or it's kind of a funny connection here. When you are looking at the first page of Google, okay, if I were to go type air filter into Google, this is what I would see. What you're actually seeing is kind of like Google's hand, okay, if we were playing poker. And so if I was playing poker against Google, Google doesn't want me to know how it put all these people on page 1. Okay, it doesn't want me to know that. But they have to show me their hand. Every time I type in a keyword and I see who's on page 1, guess what? I know how to get on page 1 for this because they're showing me their hand. All right, so once I've got this list of the people who are winning, right? These are the people that Google loves the most for this keyword. I'm going to pick a couple of them. All right. And I'm going to put them into a tool, this button here that's called What Ranks Where. And the first one that I picked was airfilterusa.com. All right. And I run a report. And what you're seeing here is here's all the keywords that they're ranked for. And I'm just going to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Okay, I could keep scrolling, right? But there's a lot. All right, there's hundreds of keywords that they're ranking for here. And this also tells me their position. So that means that right now, if you went to Google and typed in activated charcoal furnace filters, you would see that this company here is number 1. All right, so why do I want this information? Why is this important to me? Why is this useful? Well, because my client isn't airfiltersusa.com. This is a competitor. All right, so once I understand the keywords that they're ranking for, okay, then what I can do is I can compare these keywords to the ones that my client is ranking for, and anything that's missing, I can add to my client, and anything where my client, let's say that they're on page 2 for this term here, okay. Let me do it by search volume here. I'm gonna just to show you kind of an example here. I'm just gonna sort. So the keyword air filter has 12,000 searches a month, okay? But you'll see here 700, 400. Well, let's just say my client was on page 2 or page 3 for this term here. Then it would be very easy for me to go ahead and bump them up, right, to page 1 to start getting some of this traffic for this keyword. All right, but I don't just do it once. So this is one company, Air Filters USA. Here's another one, discountfilters.com. Okay, so the same thing. How many keywords? Hundreds. Okay, typically there'll be thousands actually for an e-commerce site. So again, the basic process that I just showed you, and again, this is just a tiny little tidbit, honestly, compared to what is inside the members area at OMG, is how to very quickly and very easily look at your competition, see what's working for them. All right, and I'll show you here. If you look on this traffic percent, then it's actually going to show you even where that traffic is coming from. Right, so this is their brand name, for example. So not only do I know what keywords they're ranking for, so that I know that's keywords I want to target, but I also know which ones are bringing them in the most traffic value. So for this particular client, we were able to raise their organic traffic, meaning non-paid ads, right? The free ads that we like to do in OMG, by about 15% within a month. And then within 3 months, they were up about 50%. And within 6 months, they were up about right at about 150, 160, 170% from where they were, simply because of this market intelligence, this data intelligence. So in some cases, all we did was add the keywords to their existing site to rank. And sometimes we had pages that were already ranking, and all we did is power them up OMG style to where they were on page 1. But this was for an existing client to do better. One thing I want to point out, let's say that you are considering opening your own store selling filters, right? Then one of the steps that you would do that we're going to teach you is you're going to go out and you're going to analyze a bunch of sites. And so right away, right out of the gate, you're going to know exactly what to be targeting. So just like Liz said before, the most valuable skill is knowing which products to choose, which products can win. Well, what better way to pick than to look at the winners and see what they're already winning from? I mean, I want to show you some things here. Look at this. This is a specific model number, right? I guarantee you, if you were thinking about, selling air filters, you sure wouldn't have put P2RF WG2, like on your target list, right? But by doing this really in-depth analysis, you have such an overwhelming advantage starting off that it's almost hard to describe. Because go ahead.
Oh, Stephen, you could tell I was getting excited about what you're saying. I appreciate it. Stephen, I've been thinking about this, and you have two different people, right? Let's say you have Jim and you have John. And let's say that Jim, has just never made any money online. And let's say that John is an OMG millionaire, right? John's somebody who came in, he did the work, he learned, he had mentors, you and Liz and Cotton and so on. One of the things that Jim doesn't know and that John does, and this is where John's confidence comes from. This is where your confidence comes from, mine, Liz's. None of us are afraid of competition. We're not afraid of competition, right? What you're doing right here, are you not like, this is like, I love that movie, The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. and there's like moments when he's like, he's there with like the Russian mafiosos and he notices this one guy's got a gun and this other guy's, got a knife in his boot. And he's making all these mental notes of what's going on, right? And not because he's going to run and call the police and be like, oh my God, this guy's got a knife. I'm afraid. It's because he's about to lay down the ass kicking of a lifetime, right?
Yep.
Liz, Liz is on here. She's so sweet. She's so unassuming. She's still that same little girl from El Paso. You come on here giggling like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But really what you're doing is you are showing how you're about to bring down the house executioner style. Because that's really what's going on here. This is like, people don't know this about, Steven. Steven is a strategic genius. This guy was a motherfucking ranger. You were an Army Ranger, right? So like, even though you sound all mild mannered and nice and stuff, Steven, people should know this about Steven. Steven has a 4-for-4 track record of either taking floundering or brand new e-commerce stores, doing all the dirty work, and all 4 of those stores are extremely effective. 4-for-4, his own personal background. Add to that how many people he's helped had extraordinary success. And what you're seeing right now is the basis of it, is the way we have a saying at OMG, it comes from David Mills: win, then attack. Win, then attack. But we need to make sure that our wins are coming in places where there's enough money for us. Everyone else is running away from it. They're like, oh, sell this thing, there's no competition. Sell that thing, there's no competition. Stephen, what's the problem with selling things when there's no competition?
Yeah, there's no competition because there's no money.
Right. I want to make that distinction because I think that it matters. You're getting to meet a world superstar when it comes to e-commerce, especially powered by this free OMG traffic here. Yeah, we can talk about the lifestyle like we did with Liz, and Liz was off, in New York gallivanting while she's making all this tons of money. Steven, I'll tell you this about Steven. Steven is uncompromising. He is not going to miss one piano recital. He's not going to miss one soccer game. Forget about it. For his kids and stuff like that, he's not going to miss those moments, right? But the way that Liz has this lifestyle, this work from home in your undershorts lifestyle, the way that Steven has this e-commerce work from home in the undershorts lifestyle is what you're seeing right now. You're getting this incredible look into the way. It's like getting inside of the brain of the Terminator when he's like lining everything up, for the kill. Steven is showing you how he lines things up for the kill right now. Steven, continue to take it away. This is amazing.
Yeah, and Mike, what you said about that movie, The Equalizer, and if you haven't seen The Equalizer, you've probably seen there's some Tom Cruise movies, the same thing, where something's about to happen and he kind of visualizes it before and kind of sees what's going to happen. Sherlock Holmes, the same way. It's exactly what we do here in OMG. Everything that we do is reproducible, recreatable. So before I ever even put up my site, I have the entire game plan mapped out. I have relentlessly done my research on my competition, and I'm going to do a great job at what I do. But I'll tell you, the best way to success, the fastest way to success for me that I've learned personally is to find people who are winning and do what they're doing. So, when I go into a new market, this is like, I just picked this because it's just something that came up, filters, but whatever I want to go into, I'm going to find, who the winners are. And I'm going to be vicious. I got to be honest with you. Again, like Mike said, I'm a pretty laid back guy and stuff, but when it comes to business, I'm going to get everything I can. I'm not out to hurt anybody else. But if I see slips, if I see them slipping, or if I see chinks in their armor, you can bet that I'm going to go for it, because, I'm not going to waste my time, trying to get, traffic to sites that, nobody's going to be buying anyway. We're going to go after something that's valuable. And like you said, something that has a lot of competition is very valuable. And remember this too. I want to make this point right here. Let's say that, Coca-Cola is, they sell soda, right? Or they sell pop, depending on where you are in the country or where you are in the world, right? Let's say that I wanted to sell, a soft drink. I don't have to beat Coca-Cola, right? Necessarily. Now, Liz does this every day, right? Liz would literally go and beat Coca-Cola. And don't think I shy away from competition. But what I want you to know too is, I could go up there and end up being number 3 in a market like that, right? Coke's number 1, PepsiCo company's number 2, and Stevens Sodas is number 3. And guess what? I'm going to be filthy rich, right? Being number 3 in a niche that's that freaking big. So, whether you're going to try to do total domination of something that's extremely, extremely competitive, or, if you want to be just a player in that, we have the blueprint for you. I've done them all, to be honest with you. Mike knows this. When I first started out doing search marketing, I was able to rank a company that I owned number 1 for computer repair, and that was globally. Okay. So anywhere in the world, if you type computer repair into Google, you're going to find my company. Now, I was able to sell that business just a couple of years after, for close to 8 figures. Right. But so my very first thing I ever did online, I jumped into something. I beat Best Buy. I beat Circuit City. I beat CompUSA. All these huge giants. From my bedroom in my shorts, I beat the crap out of them, and that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be teaching you how to do. Exactly the same stuff.
Stephen, I mentioned it's not just that you were born this incredible genius. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Okay. At this point, your track record speaks for itself. It is what it is. But again, sameness here. I look at you, I look at Liz. I know that when Liz wanted to take her game from B game to A game in poker, that what she did was she would, here, I'll give you guys a prop here real quick. I think I got something sitting around here. What she would do is she would take one of these things. This is called an envelope. And she would stuff it with this stuff, right? She would stuff it with this. And Liz, correct me if I'm wrong, right? She would stuff it with all these hundreds and 20s and all that stuff. And she would do this technique of putting the money in the envelope. And then the next step was to hand the envelope to somebody who had knowledge that Liz wanted. Liz, I don't want to speak for you, but is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. I paid up to sometimes $10,000 to $20,000 for a book, a poker book, and right. A couple of occasions. Right.
And then when you got into Amazon, did you keep doing the same thing, or did you come in as a know-it-all?
No, I love to go to masterminds. So I've met some of the brightest and the best internet marketers in the world by going to those masterminds.
Right. And you accomplish it with the envelope method. We have showed the secret envelope method. Now, Stephen, have you ever used the envelope method? Are you a stranger to the envelope method, or do you know of this?
Mike, I am not a stranger to the envelope method. I have been spending thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for probably better than a decade on self-improvement, things, not just like personal things, but business things. I'm a huge believer in that. I mean, you know that I'm a little bit more than halfway through a PhD program right now. So, I have I'm doing my quote formal education, right? But just like OMG, what I've found is when it comes to making money, the best investment is going to be straight with the people who are winning, man. Fruit shows you somebody is, right.
That's what Jesus tells people.
That's what I'm saying. You see that. So, and I've done that in every aspect of my life. I have financial people who I pay for advice. I have people who, health and, all kinds of stuff, right? It's one of the advantages of actually having money that you can afford to do that. But it all started really because of those first, good steps. And I was blessed to choose the right people. The reason why I was able to rank that business for computer repair is because my partner actually spent most of the money, over $200,000 on.
Over 200,000.
Yeah.
Do you regret that?
Oh my God.
Is that a regret?
Mike, I would stay, I did 18-hour days reading and programs and stuff. And I can honestly say if we didn't make that investment, I don't know where I'd be right now. I just don't know. That was the best money that we ever spent. If you look at an ROI, again, we were close to 8 figures. So, I don't have a calculator, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good return on investment because we made a lot of money through that business, before we sold it. So, we made, almost 7 figures each for years, and then we sold it. So, I've never regretted investing in myself or investing in training. But listen, I'm like you though, and I'm like Liz. I'm extremely selective. I look at the person and I say, and I don't want to offend anybody, but if you're overweight or you're obese, I'm not going to hire you to be my personal trainer. I'm just not. So again, I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just not going to do it. Likewise, I had a guy actually come up to my house last night who was a financial advisor, or, he was offering his services. And he pulled up in a very nice, what's the entry level kind of Toyota? It's like a Corolla or something. I don't know.
No idea.
Whatever it is, and I just thought, not trying to be mean to him, but I thought, I'm not sure I want to take financial advice from you, to be honest.
Right.
I'd probably prefer somebody who's, maybe a little more down the road. But boy, I tell you what, choosing the right people and choosing the right time, just can't say much more about it. Just it's things happen, for a reason. And, I'll tell you, I'm on here right now. You're on here. But if you're someone that's watching right now, it's not a coincidence. Things don't happen. You and I, we don't believe in coincidences. If someone's watching this right now, they're supposed to be watching this right now. So I just hope they get the message they're supposed to get.
I love it, Stephen. All right, let me let you continue. But I felt like that interlude, because again, a lot of these people that you're seeing, yes, they have success. Yes, they're unique. But notice the veins of similarity, and even the veins of similarity with Ty Lopez. Ty spends 6-figure per month on getting the best consulting that he can possibly get. Does he regret that? Well, last month he bought an Aventador and a Dawn, so it seems like it's working for him. Stephen, please continue.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Mike, that was pretty much all for this lesson. It was short and sweet. What I really wanted everybody to kind of get a taste of is kind of, a little bit of a taste of what e-commerce training might look like, on the inside of OMG, and really to reinforce something that I'm sure it's been said here at least once or twice. We're showing you what we do. This isn't a theory. This isn't like, I read a book and I hope it helps. And, going back to my college education again, obviously I believe in it, or I wouldn't be at the PhD level. Right. But I'll tell you what, I'm not taking business advice or marketing advice, a whole lot, because we're probably, more successful than my professors, right? They're teaching theories and, not the real world. This thing I showed you, this is something I actually did. And I'll do it tomorrow. And it's a very valuable skill to have, to be able to do your own, own your own business, own your own e-commerce site. One of the things I'm not sure if we mentioned earlier, Mike, is we throw around the term e-commerce a lot. And one thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands is that e-commerce is kind of a generic term. Now, what Liz primarily does is Amazon e-commerce, right? Primarily. So she mostly sells products through the Amazon marketplace, through all kinds of different ways. I don't do Amazon. So when I say I do e-commerce, I mean that I own my own stores. So I'm not selling through someone else's platform. I'm selling through my own platform. I own the products. I own, everything. And one of the advantages that gives me is that in addition to selling the products that I want to sell, I also have the opportunity to multiply monetize. So when I have an e-commerce store, I'm not just going to sell a product. That's just a single method of monetization. I'm going to have at least 3, typically 4 different types of monetization, for my e-commerce sites. So, as an easy example, guys, for anyone listening, whenever you go to stores, you could go to a big store. You could go to bestbuy.com and you're going to see ads running on there somewhere, right? That aren't for Best Buy. So even a store as huge and massive as Best Buy that sells their own products, right? They have ads on there. Why? Because it makes them more money. And that's something you can do with your own platform.
So Stephen, one of the things that I think that really appeals to members of Tyler Lopez's audience is the idea of multiple streams of income. Not just one stream of income, but several streams of income. What you're saying is you're creating these OMG machine websites. You're creating your own website. It could be off of Shopify or whatever, but you're creating your own property, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and I'll tell you the one of the nice things about this, can I tell you just real quickly how I kind of got started with this?
Please do.
Okay. So, I was doing client consulting, which is what Cotton does, not anywhere near as good as Cotton does it. But I was making a good living, and a good friend of mine had an e-commerce store, and he came to me and said, "Hey, I'm having some problems. Do you think you could help?" And, and I told him, I said, "Listen, e-commerce is not my thing, but I'll do my best." He's a good friend of mine, and this was the only way that this was his single revenue stream. Okay, to support his family. So I jumped in, and this actually is one of my best friends in the world, actually, that I'm talking about. And so I'd say that I spent probably close to 3 months really kind of doing what I mentioned before that I did way back to kind of try to become an e-commerce expert, right? Like I read everything, I bought every course, and what I found out was this. I found out that I was actually able to modify the search marketing skills that I had to e-commerce actually fairly simply. It took me several months to kind of really figure all this out. But once I did, I kind of had that aha moment where I said, hey, this is different, but it's not too different. And so we were able to go in and turn his store completely around. And he actually owns either 5 or 6 stores now. I don't remember, but what he's actually been able to do is a strategy that I love where, so I can't tell you the product. I just can't. But I'll tell you, if you live in a certain part of the world and you are looking for a certain product, I know I'm being vague, but I have to, or he'd kill me. Actually, I'll tell you, it's in the embarrassment niche. Okay. It's something you would not want to walk into a store and buy. Okay. You just wouldn't. But if you type that into Google where he's at, you have the illusion of 10 different choices. Guess what? You don't. He has all of them because he has these different stores. So if you buy this product, basically in this country, it's not the US, you pretty much are buying from him. And so anyway, I just wanted to go on that because, he kind of went from, just really making an okay living to now he's doing way better than just making an okay living. But from that, once I realized that I had the skills to do that, then I went ahead and I had some other friends who were struggling, and they had day jobs, and they were just good people, just salt of the earth, just working their butts off, and they just weren't making the money they needed to make. And they got caught up in multi-level marketing schemes, and not saying that all multi-level marketing is schemes at all. There's some completely legitimate ones, but the ones they kept falling into were just kind of the bad ones, and just kept throwing more money away. So I decided hey, why can't I just do a joint venture with these guys? And so what happened, and this is over several years, didn't happen overnight. We were able to get them, stores of their own, where basically I do. So their job really was to pick the product and to source it figure out where it's, what we're going to sell and how much we're going to pay for it and all that. And I did everything else because I had those skills. So I was responsible for putting up the website, for ranking, for the email list, for, everything, right? Pretty much they picked the product, found the person that, supplier, set the prices, and I did everything else. And so now, they're able to have some breathing room, and some additional finances. So that's kind of, my short history on this. But throughout all of that, I have been able to consult with and make lots of money. I wouldn't put a dollar figure on it right now, but for sure more than 6 figures, closer to 7 on doing consulting. Because if you have a store and you can help it, convert higher or get more traffic or whatever, that's an extremely valuable skill, whether it's a store that's making 10,000 a month or whether it's a store that's making millions a month. If you have the proof, if you have the evidence, if you have the track record, and people can say, oh yeah, this guy fixed my store, I'll send him over to you, see if he'll let you work with him. Then that's something that's extremely marketable. And all of this is going to be on the inside of OMG. So when I teach you how to, build your own site and how to rank it and all that kind of stuff, you can do it for your own and you're gonna, but you can also consult, you can help other people. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing how many different things that you're going to be able to do with this one skill. Whereas I'm sure that people listening right now, like most people think, oh, well, if you do e-commerce, it means you have a store and you sell a product and that's it. It's just so much more, so much more.
It is so much more. And yet, a sameness between what Liz is showing you and what Steven is showing you, and this is so incredible, is, I'll put it this way, A to Z. You don't have to have a product when you meet Liz, when you meet Steven. You don't have to even really understand how Amazon works or how e-commerce works if you're off of Amazon. It's about a 50-50 thing, like Liz said. There's a huge opportunity out there. You don't need to know this stuff. What you do need to know is who your coach is and how to mother effing listen to them. Okay, that you do have to do. Okay, I'll say it nice for you. You gotta motherfucking listen to these people. It is so important. Okay, it's not you calling your own plays. This is not about you reinventing the wheel. You may down the road, right? You may find it. You might take it to it like a fish to water. And the way to know if you are that level of a person where you're gonna be able to innovate and stuff like that is when you check your bank statement and you made $100,000 last month. Then we can talk about it. Okay, we'll set that aside for a second. As long as you can button down your ego for that long, okay, and really get in there and be coachable, then Liz and Steven can open up a whole world to you. Okay, and I mean A to Z. I've seen it. You have to understand this. We already had the perfect process. Okay, when Liz and Steven joined us. Think about that. Inside of OMG, you already had Cotton over here and Greg over here, and they're just gonna squish you until you make some motherfucking money doing client consulting. All right, Cotton is gonna make sure that you know how to sell it. Greg's gonna make sure you know how to fulfill it. That's the perfect process. You're stuck in between, all right? If you wanna run away from that, that's your own problem, okay? We already had that. We already had that. So why would we add on? Why would we double down on Liz and on Steven? Why would we do that? I'll tell you why we would do that. Because there's so much money flying around in e-commerce. And here's a key. Steven brought this up earlier. If you're paying careful attention, I know it might be hard because, Cotton asked you for permission here to kind of go probably over some people's heads. Steven got down and dirty, and that's good news, right? But one of the things that Steven told you, if you're paying careful attention, is that this is something that anybody can get involved with, okay? This is somebody that anybody, even if you're the barest of beginners, you can get in there and you can get involved with this and have incredible success. And here's the key. He said it, 90%. You can even write this down. Write this down. I'll write it down big for you, okay? 90%. I'm gonna write down 90%. 90%, right there, 90%. Why did I write down 90%? Steven, if you were somebody who got inside of OMG and you got stuck in between Cotton and Greg Morrison, and you got squished into the perfect process, all right, what percentage of the way are you knowledge-wise to having success with e-commerce? And I'll ask the same question to Liz. So if you know the basic fundamentals of the perfect process of making money with client consulting, what percentage of the way are you there to having success with e-commerce?
At least 90. You said 90, but at least. And that's, like I said, that's what I found out when I started doing this. I thought that it looked very different when I first looked at it. But once I really got into it and started doing testing and stuff, I realized, oh boy, I can really do this. Like, not only can I do this, but the way that we've been killing it over here, and almost you have that epiphany and you go, oh my God, I need to open 100 stores like tomorrow because it's just, it's just, yeah. I mean, if you have that foundation already, which you're going to, then really, honestly, my side anyway, not Liz's side necessarily, but my side, all of the training that you have, it builds you up to this certain point to where you're just going to be ready to jump off. It's not going to be like, if you took a whole separate course, you'd have to learn, spend all the time and energy you put into what Greg and Cotton are showing you. When you get over to my side and you start looking at that, you're going to go, in fact, you're going to hear it in the training videos. Some of the videos I come out and I say, you should have seen this before, but let's go. Let's show how we're doing this for e-com, right? So you already know how to do A, B, and C. So we're going to do A, B, and C here. Sometimes there's a little twist, but learning a little twist is a whole different thing, than learning A, B, and C, from scratch, right? So yeah, 90%, maybe higher for sure.
Liz, what would you say the number is? If somebody already has, the skills inside of OMG where, they can do client consulting and so on, what percentage of the way are they to having success with Amazon, would you say?
Well, I think if they have the desire, Mike, they're 99.9% there, literally, because as you saw with that first example of the virtual reality headset, we did nothing other than send the thing into Amazon, and it was selling literally by itself 6 to 7 units without any help from us whatsoever. So I really think that by leveraging the traffic of Amazon, it's the best way for a beginner to jump on in, is to leverage and partner with the biggest site in the world, a site that's responsible on certain days for more than 50% of the actual internet sales. It's a win-win all the way around. There's never been a better opportunity than right this very moment. There's a level playing field for every single person out there that wants to put out a product with all the knowledge that they get inside of OMG, including the product picking, which is what we just talked about being the single most important thing in all of Amazon.
Very powerful. Now, let me give you a final piece of context. I'm going to hand things over to Cotton, and he's going to bring things home. He's going to tell you how to get inside of OMG. It's just going to be literally incredible. Before Liz and before Steven even came inside of OMG and became player coaches, thank goodness that they did, we already had the perfect process. All right? We had it. We had Cotton, who was going to come in and show you the script and method and answer questions for how he lands one after one after one after one client who's going to pay him $5,000 plus per month, to the point where Cotton has landed over 100 $5,000 per month clients. It's incredible. But wait, there's more. Greg's going to come in and show you how to fulfill it. So now you're not just making money, you're getting referrals. It's absolutely amazing. But add to that, it was time to double down. It was time to double down because, as Steven has shown you, as Liz has shown you, when you learn any of these processes in OMG, let's say you learn our client consulting method for placing free ads on the internet for clients, that puts you somewhere between 90 and 99% of the way to having your own successful work from home in your undershorts e-commerce store like with Steven, or from having your own Amazon empire that you're building up. That's what doubling down is all about. And it doesn't even cost an extra penny, because inside of OMG, it's not an extra $25,000 for our Amazon training. Easily could be. Easily could be. Would be well worth it. Well worth it. Steven, $2,000 an hour. That would normally, under normal circumstances, buy you 12 and a half hours of Steven if you were to pay $25,000, right? Sounds fair? I'd pay it. I'd pay it in a second. I've spent way worse money than that and was happy, right? But Steven's a humble guy, comes with a humble price tag of 0. Once you're inside of OMG, all of it's there for you, ready to go. Look, it could be that a year comes from now, you joined OMG, you're going through Cotton's perfect process, you're making $10,000, $15,000 a month from clients, and you say to yourself, you know what? I never needed the Amazon. I never needed to build an e-commerce store. And that's cool. Now, I will tell you this, it could be a week later, and you find out that you've got $1 million opportunity on Amazon. Literally, I've seen this happen, right? And so guess what? Next thing you know, you're diving your members there. You're like, I love you, Liz. I love you, Liz. What's going on? I see it all the time. Liz, how many times have we seen an OMG who's had great success? Someone like Michael Lando Spears jumps to mind for me. Somebody who's had great success using OMG with affiliate, and next thing you know, he's blowing up your inbox with all these questions out of nowhere. And oh, by the way, he's now done hundreds of thousands of dollars of Amazon sales. Everything can change in the blink of an eye with e-commerce, Liz.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, it happens day in, day out. There's always opportunity out there, especially when you set yourself up as an agency with clients. As Cotton said, one of his number one way of generating new clients is word of mouth. So as soon as you get all these local businesses and nationwide, national businesses that need products and or your services, it's very easy to upsell them once they're satisfied with a single one of the product or services that you actually deliver to them. It's very easy for them to not only hire you to do additional jobs, but it's also very easy for them to refer you to their network of friends, which can be even more powerful. As you've seen, Cotton really has taken advantage of this. That's how almost all his referrals coming out is through his current clients.
Very powerful. Okay, I think we turned over every stone, Cotton. Please let people know how to get inside of OMG and what OMG NHB 2017 is about. And I really appreciate you, Cotton. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Guys, we've had some incredible lessons from Liz and Steven. Want to get you guys woke up, fired up again, get inside the Facebook group. If you could just give me hashtag Steven. He put on an incredible lesson, literally a consulting phone call that would have cost you a couple $1,000s at a minimum. We were able to give that to you. You asked for it. We delivered it for you. Give me hashtag Steven. And what we're going to do is right now, we've shown you over the last couple nights. Last night, we showed you how easy it is to dominate in Google, to sell that targeted traffic. Now, today, you've seen Amazon. You've seen everything with e-commerce, physical products, helping people out. What we're going to show you now is how to get inside of OMG. And, we're going to start out with literally talking about some perfect process transformations. I want to make sure that you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see that with...
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm gonna talk about some people that have been inside of OMG that have had incredible transformations. A new one recently that was just brought to light is Francisco Ortiz. Was his native language is Spanish. Not only that, but he joined OMG last year, so he already had a level of difficulty, and his native language being Spanish, learning everything in English, but Francisco had to go to Switzerland. A totally different language he had to learn. And OMG, the perfect process, is so powerful that when people speak one language and they say that they can't get it to work, it's simply a matter they're not working hard enough. Francisco, from his Spanish to his English to then another language in Switzerland, he was able to get $10,000 a month reoccurring provided in OMG. I always said where there's a will, there's a way. Francisco's one of these guys where he was going to make it. Nothing was going to stop him. No obstacle was going to get in his way. No language barrier was going to get in his way. He knew he had the right information. And to him, it's crazy as it sounds. When I talked to him, he said, well, I have the right information. All I knew how to do is just say it in their language. So if you want to know how easy it is for it to work, if you speak English, able to do it through multiple languages, then you've got it made. So the perfect process is, that's what I wanted to share with you. How he's $10,000 a month, recurring, the Spanish speaker, learned it in English in Switzerland. The next up is the OMG perfect process transformation is Fletch. Fletch has been with OMG almost since the beginning. And Fletch has literally one of the most incredible, perfect process transformations. Fletch, could you take us through, and, for those that were there last night, share it again for those that didn't. It's such a powerful story. What's going on in that picture over to the left where it looks all hazy and it looks like you're not very happy? And then tell us what's going on at the right and how one picture led to the other.
Yeah, that picture on the left there, Cotton, I'm in an attic here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's actually a suburb. I know, I can remember the house I was in still. And I had a general contracting business here 5 years ago now, and was just not getting any phone calls, and wound up in a situation where I was behind on bills, and my wife called me when I was in an attic, actually, and let me know that our water got turned off. And I, kind of had to face the facts that whatever had happened, and I needed to figure out a different way to kind of move forward and put things together for my wife, for myself, for my kids, and started kind of poking around online. I didn't have an internet connection at the house because we certainly couldn't afford that, but I had an old beat up laptop that I'd carried to Starbucks before I started my construction jobs, and started poking around and found a webinar that Mike was on with Greg Morrison that you've heard a little bit about. And they were talking about being able to rank on Google. And just inherently, I kind of understood that there's a lot of customers who were on the internet looking for a solution to the problems they had. And I knew that they were not finding my business, my company, my website, my social media presence, none of that kind of thing. I built the website. I thought it was good, but I really had no way to know whether it was good or not, because it's pretty hard to test conversion when you don't have any traffic. So wound up getting effectively selling my truck and some of my tools to join OMG as a kind of burn the bridges move, and put it together, watched all the webinars I could, got on Greg's office hours, and ranked my own company's website. Stephen talked about owning companies and ranking them. It's a pretty profitable way to go. That was one of the first things I did, was rank my own construction site. And we went from getting like 3 phone calls a month to being able to book 3 phone calls a day, which is a massive shift in the amount of income and revenue that business could bring in. And I knew I really didn't want to climb around in attics anymore. That picture's, it looks all grainy and out of focus, but actually that's what the air quality is like in an attic. It's not a healthy place to be. So yeah, I started talking to my subcontractors and asked if they wanted to maybe just receive these phone calls directly, and figured out some ways to put together effectively a lead generation business that is one of the drivers of my income right now. So I rank my own websites. I get people to phone in, call the business that's connected to, and I just get paid incrementally when there's a lead that comes in that connects with the business, the person that can take care of that customer. Picture on the right's much better times. That was me with my 3 daughters now in Aspen, Colorado. Got to go on a nice road trip this last summer. Ran one of my office hours webinars from a hotel, like a chateau that's downtown Aspen, that actually, when I was growing up, we'd go to Aspen. I grew up in Colorado, but there's all these really fancy houses and fancy hotels, and I drive by this place all the time. And I was like, man, it's like, I bet like really rich people stay there, and everybody there is just owns all these businesses and all that kind of thing. So, when we went back this time, that I made sure to book a room, there. So it was fun to get to kind of stay there and, come full circle, so to speak, on really, kind of making amends for getting in a pickle and getting out of it, and, kind of putting together a better solution for myself and my family. So yeah, it's a lot better life that I live now than I did 5 years ago.
It's an amazing story, Fletch. Always great to hear that story. Next up, we have Gregory Ortiz. Gregory Ortiz joined OMG a couple years ago. He was a Bed Bath & Beyond manager, making $50,000 a year. He was unhappy. He knew that he was destined for greater things. When he joined OMG, he had a serious problem. He was spending 3 hours in commute, an hour and a half on the subway, all the way from the Bronx, all the way into Manhattan, all the way back at night. Sometimes if he didn't catch that subway right, he had to wait another hour, making it over 2.5 hours to get home at night. Took a chance. He used his emergency credit card that his wife had. He didn't tell her. He bought inside of OMG. What he did was quite remarkable. I would get messages late at night from Gregory, 2 o'clock in the morning, asking me questions, asking me, about this process and that process. He wanted to get that perfect process down. He would literally wake up in the morning and he would work and study the process of OMG from 2 a.m. till about 6 a.m. Get on that subway and make it into work. Study on the way there, study on the way back. And by slowly, by following the rule, progress over perfection, Gregory was able to slowly build his income to where now you see him in a picture in New Orleans, taking a vacation, taking his son there, writing on the Before I Die wall that he wants to get everything possible for his son. Gregory now, with the perfect process and the blueprints available into OMG and the work that he's put in, now nets over $100,000 a month recurring, and one of the most successful people to ever come through OMG. Next one up is one that's been great. You know, she joined OMG about a year ago, Leslie, and, you know, it just goes to prove that those that knew absolutely nothing, like myself, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know about search engine optimization. I didn't know about Google. Leslie was in the same situation, but Leslie knew that with her common sense, her smarts, how she's dealt with businesses before, she could be highly successful. So she started on the journey of a novice, not knowing anything. And since then, she's built her business up to where this year she had a record-breaking month, $100,000 of net income in 1 month. To where now I think she hovers around $30,000 or $40,000 a month, but that was a highlight of the year for her. And this is just one of hundreds of stories that we can share with you inside of OMG. So the question is, what is Project No Holds Barred NHB 2017? And we're going to get in that. We're going to show you exactly what's inside of it. You've heard about what you can get, but let's take a look at exactly what you're going to get. You know, you're going to get a minimum of 3 live webinars weekly. Many times you get 5 or 6, but there's always a minimum of 3. And let's just look at what some of the people are saying about these webinars. Thanks, Cotton and Joe, for another mind-blowing webinar tonight. I just started with OMG with no knowledge of SEO. You know, all of OMG coaching webinars are great. There's something very special about Assimilation Light. Can't put my finger on it. Don't know what I would do without them. It just goes on to tell how blown away they are. Wow, what can I say? I'm still mind blown by tonight's Assimilation webinar, but then again, I'm mind blown every light webinar. Another one. Hey, everyone. Just was added to the group last night. Started in OMG a week ago. Was catching up on the replays. Tonight's webinar was my first one. All I can say is wow, wow, wow. Amazing. There's absolutely nothing light about tonight's Assimilation Light webinar. Mind-blowing stuff. Every week, the coaches break down SEO, provide you with some hard-hitting and easy info, easy to understand for newbies like me. Assimilation Light webinars are the real OMG stuff filled with family-like environment, baby step learning, so no one is left behind. What a webinar. All Assimilation Lights are so powerful. This is one completely blew my mind. Now, these are unprovoked people posting on Facebook in our private Facebook members area, excited about what they've learned, excited about what they've seen on these webinars. So what I want to do is, because we're talking about the webinars, I want to take you through what it's like to have a week inside of OMG. And Sundays start out with Fletch. What you're going to do is you're going to get Fletch for a Q&A webinar. Fletch has been in OMG for 4 years. He's one of the pillars of my learning. When I first got into OMG, Fletch is someone that I listen to consistently along with Greg Morrison. I wasn't around to teach myself. Steven wasn't around. Liz wasn't around. Joe wasn't around. So I had Fletch. It wasn't for Fletch and his guidance and him pioneering the way with his information, I probably wouldn't be where I was today. Fletch, can you give people a little preview of what they can normally see on Sundays from your webinars?
First off, I appreciate you saying that, Cotton. Thank you. You know, we have a lot of fun, and I don't know if you get a sense of this on this webinar or not, but I try to just really be open and real. And, you know, on the webinars with people that are within OMG that we get to know each other, I open up websites. You know, I show people the back end of my WordPress installations of websites that are ranking, that are making money, that are converting. Pretty much kind of just, you know, open up a lot of different business models that I've been successful with, whether that's, you know, doing client SEO, which you helped me learn and understand, or the lead generation stuff that I was doing really before that, or even some e-commerce and you know, actual physical products that we're getting into now. It's really being able to stand alongside somebody, and, you know, not to, you know, toot my own horn, but that has multiple profitable businesses that are doing well, that took them from zero to something, that can show you the steps that you could replicate to build your own business, you know, in whatever fashion you wanted to. So Sundays are fun. I like getting to know our members on Sunday, as well as throughout the week. But yeah, starting the week off right with those webinars is a good time for me.
It's amazing. On Sundays, you'll have access to Fletch. Then we come on Mondays. Hailed is probably the greatest, one of the greatest SEOs of all time. Greg Morrison has been with OMG since the inception, one of the founders. Greg spends hours, as many as 12 to 13 hours a day, digging through Google code, staying ahead of patents. Literally, Google has over 240 changes a year. Greg has been able to stay on top of every one of them, not only daily, but also have them solved months and months and months in advance. So many people try to get access to Greg Morrison with one-on-one training, with coaching, with everything. The only way you can get access to Greg Morrison is inside of OMG. And every Monday, everyone piles in with their questions. It's the only place you can ask Greg questions. Greg unleashes his information on you. That's every Monday. This alone is worth the cost of admission inside of OMG. Mondays are always electrified when you got Greg Morrison revealing all this data and research that he has with Google. The next day, we could almost call it Hurricane Liz Herrera Day. That's when everyone battens up the windows, tapes their wigs down. Liz, Tuesdays.
Well, Cotton, we start off by always make sure we got our wigs taped on, that's for sure, because I get rowdy, I get crazy. There's times where we take shots. Actually, no, wait a minute. That's on Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we do get rowdy. We do get crazy. We have a lot of fun. But most importantly, we jump straight into Amazon. We talk about all changes inside the Amazon search engine. And we talk about the techniques that I am actually using in my business to propel my products to the top of the search engines. And as I said before, it's a lot of fun. It's a day that I look forward to. In fact, it's a day where usually I lose my voice because I get so fired up on those webinars. My job is to not only get all those people understanding all the new things going on inside of Amazon and how to market their products, but most importantly, to motivate them to get out there and take some action.
Sounds amazing, Liz. Remember, Tuesdays are one of these things to where there's two paths and you can do them both at once. If you're into physical products, you're absolutely insane not to attend these webinars every Tuesday. Now, if you watched the webinar last night, we know that OMG's surrounded and kind of centered around SEO. What I did was I took a screenshot of our webinar from Thursday night. As if you can look right here, we had about 1,400 comments, which is pretty low. I didn't get a lot of interaction that night. Sometimes we've had as much as 5,000. This is our flagship webinar. I'm going to tell you exactly what assimilation is. What assimilation is the first quarter of the year. We're going to take you by the hand and we're going to show you exactly how to dominate Google and the search engines, how you're going to be able to take this perfect process information and you're going to be able to snowball it and sell it for as much as $1,000 to, I have clients as much as $55,000 a month. You're going to get the intimate process that we go out, that I use with Bob Proctor, with other people. We've got Joe Marfolio. We've got Steven on here. Then after the first quarter, that's when handcuffs are off. That's when our research and development, when we throw down and prove why it is the greatest search engine optimization webinar on the internet. Steven, what are some things they can look for in 2017? Because this is the first year that you're going to be a part of it. And I know that you want to throw some ingredients in this stew that we're stirring around. What do you got for us in assimilation this year?
Hey, Cotton. Like you, I'm happy to be on with you and Joe on Wednesday nights. I'm really excited about that. I really enjoyed the first quarter because, like you said, there may be people watching that are like, I don't really know what this is all about. I'm not really sure I understand everything. Well, guess what? Last year there was hundreds of or thousands of people in your same position, and these reports that you've seen, some of these success stories. Were sitting right where you were sitting and didn't know anything at all. You mentioned Elizabeth. So I love that beginning because, like you said, Cotton, we're going to take them by the hand and walk them step by step. Now, once the first quarter is over and we jump into the assimilation, not assimilation light, that's when the gloves are off, like you said. And that's where we're really going to be getting into some really technical stuff. Not technical, you can't understand it, but that's where all of our research and development and all of the things behind the scenes. One thing, Cotton, that I don't talk about this a whole lot on public webinars, but I am involved in a lot of Google backend kind of stuff. I belong to a lot of quote secret groups, and so I have the opportunity to give OMGers an advance notice on things fairly frequently, things that are coming, and or be able to test things before they're launched. And several of those things that happened, last year and the year before. So I'm looking forward to holding you guys' hands if you're starting. But once you have your basic things in place, then we're going to show you how to really kill it. I mean, you're going to start off and be competent SEOs probably by the time the first quarter's done. But once second, third comes along, you're just going to blow people away. You're just going to be at such a high level. And we hear this over and over and over again in the members area, that they have the opportunity to, meet other people who are in this profession. And every time, without a doubt, they just blow them away with our advanced stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen. And every Wednesday night is assimilation. Next, we want to talk about what's inside the members area. When you log in, what are you actually going to get? We talked about our live webinars. It's absolutely electrifying what you're going to get with current updated information, which is ongoing. But what about an instant? When you get in and when you sign up, what do you get? You're going to get over-the-shoulder training from $100,000 per month earners. You're going to get the mastery of client consulting. You're going to find out how to land these big clients, the rebuttals, the framework, everything you need to know. You're also going to get mastery of search engines. Google is not the only search engine. We talked about it last night. We talked about how YouTube is also the second biggest search engine. And then we talked about it tonight. Amazon, how that's another search engine. You're going to learn how to master that and many more. Also, you're going to learn the mastery of affiliate marketing, selling other people's products. Fletcher talked a little bit about it last night and a little bit today, the mastery of lead generation, where you can set up your own digital properties and sell these leads to other businesses that need targeted traffic. But you just heard from Liz all night. This has been the theme of the whole webinar, the mastery of Amazon and the mastery of e-commerce. You're going to be with Liz as she's going to take you over the shoulder, shows how she coaches and how she trains her team. Like you're a part of Liz's team, and you're going to be able to go out and do this on your own. So if what you've heard tonight just gets you excited, you're going to be able to learn the mastery of physical products in e-commerce. But once you get inside of OMG, we realize that the right information without the right mindset is absolutely worthless. You can have a map to a treasure, but if you never get off of the couch, that information is worthless. And that's where a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about is inside of OMG, and that's David Mills' Alchemy. David has literally put 30 webinars in a sequential order, over 90 hours of content, showing you how to rewire your mind, how to look at things in a different way. It literally has thousands of testimonials to this point, hundreds of comments of how it's changed their lives, how it's changed the way they looked at stuff. If you literally want to get your hands on the latest motivation, the latest way to change your mindset, and it's a bonus inside of OMG. You're going to get David Mills' Alchemy, David Mills' Rigging the Game, anything you're going to get exclusive that David Mills does right inside of OMG. And one of the most valuable things that people say about OMG is about the community. And when you join OMG, you're going to get access to our private Facebook group. And if you've never had an opportunity to have crowdsource answers to where you post a question and everyone helps you get that question answered, everyone moving in the same direction, everyone working on the same projects, everyone helping one another, it's amazing. But not only that, the friendships and the partnerships that you're going to be able to make are going to be lifelong. Some of my best friends right now are some of the people that are in OMG. Fletch, Mike, you see on here, Steven. These are the people that I talk to on a daily basis. And you know what? It's no different as a member inside of OMG. The friendships that they forward through our live events, through our live webinars, and through being business colleagues working virtually in the same field, you are going to make and have these friendships and relationships. Even find a partner, someone great at web design, someone great at physical products and you're not, but you're great at SEO. Combine them together, you have a nuclear explosion. All that happens inside the Facebook group. But you know what? Is OMG worth $100,000? I dared ask that question on one webinar. I decided to copy and paste everything to make it all dramatic and throw it up on the screen. Indeed, people did say, yes, it is definitely worth $100,000. But I went a little bit further, asked our community if joining was the best decision they ever made. Once again, copied and pasted everything on the screen for you. People are saying, yes, it's the best decision they ever made. And that's really, really touching to us, knowing that the information that we're going out and doing at our digital marketing agencies and Liz with her Amazon and everything, that we can come back for a few hours and we can share this. And it's helping people make money and starting their own business, and they say it's the best decision ever. It's a great feeling. You know, OMG Machines, is there a catch? Think of it as, yeah, there is a few catches. We're going to go over them right now. And one of them is OMG doesn't include telephone coaching. What we do is we have thousands of hours of recorded video module training at your access that you can go through and learn. Also, we do learning through live webinars. So once you attend the live webinar, you have access to our entrepreneurs. We're able to ask them one-on-one questions that's specific to your business or that's specific to your learning needs. But what we don't do, we don't get on Skype calls one-on-one, or we don't, if we have time, we answer messages. If we have time, we answer Facebook messages. But everything is learned through video modules and through live webinar interaction through questions and answers. The other catch is OMG is for the serious-minded person who wants a massive advantage, not for the person who wants it all done for them. You know, you're going to need to think and act like an entrepreneur, not like an employee. And thirdly, OMG does not offer refunds. We've not offered refunds going into our 5th year right now. It's a way that we know that our process is perfect. It works. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials and income reports proving that if the work is done, that it's going to change what you do. We want you to come in with the mindset that if you want to take that island right there, boats. And that's one of the reasons why we've never offered refunds. We want you to come in with a serious and sound mind inside of OMG, ready to work, ready to learn, and ready to change your life. You know, OMG Machines, a full year of training and coaching and masterminding with Greg Morrison, myself, Liz Herrera, Stephen Floyd, Joe Marfolio, or even Fletch would be a steal at the $20,000 mark. You just seen to where Stephen Floyd gave you a little taste of what it's like to be on a $2,000 phone call with him. Imagine having access to that week in and week out, but not only one, but numerous amounts of entrepreneurs running their business, coming back, sharing their top secrets and their research and development. It's literally like sitting around and, you know, if you could get stock tips from George Soros, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and all these other guys, and if you could listen to a conversation with them, imagine how valuable that would be of how to invest your money. The same thing is with all of us with digital marketing. When you hear the whispers of what we say that we're doing, it literally moves the needle. And that's what you'll get inside of them. It'd be an absolute steal at $20,000. But it's not. Project No Holds Barred NHB 2017 is simply $499 a month. That's it on a 16-month pay, as little as $125 a week. You know, if you think about going and getting a college education and how much money you're in, you hear about how students are $250,000 in debt, over $100,000 in debt, and they still have a difficult getting a job afterwards. And the median income of getting a job after getting a bachelor's degree is just $42,000. I don't know about you, but that's not a lot of money. It's nothing that I want to live on. Process that you can take and learn and use, and with a few short months, you can be blown away with what you can learn. What I want you to do is below the video that you're watching right now, what you'll see is you'll see this page right here. What I want you to do is to click on the open letter link. It'll take you to this page. You'll see Bob Proctor speaking out about OMG. You know, Bob Proctor has been a legend for the last 5 decades, where his legacy of changing people's lives and success is bar none. He actually gives us his lifetime recommendation. It's something that we're very, very proud of. But not only that, another video that you can watch is we have live events throughout the year. This one was a $2,000 event. We asked people, how many of you paid for your $2,000 ticket to this event, your travel, your hotel, your meals, and everything from OMG Profits? Over 90% of the people raised their hands that were there. You know, once you get inside of OMG, you get an immediate advantage. That immediate advantage is you're going to get access to our training modules. You're going to get access to get in the live webinars. You start to learn right away. You get an ongoing advantage, meaning you get ongoing live webinars for the next year from people like me, Fletch, and everyone. But the permanent advantages you're going to get is that Facebook group, your members area, and the lifelong friendships that you're going to make. It's a group like no other. So when you look through this very clearly, there's Liz with Bob Proctor and Mike talking about it right there. But literally, take time and read through the sales letter. And when you do, I want you to click on this yellow link right here, which will take you to another page. Get right to the checkout to get inside of OMG. Now, OMG is only open for a limited amount of time. It's not open all year long. We open literally the first part of the year. We bring in as many people as we can, and we literally mentor them throughout the entire year to ensure their ultimate success. I sat around and said, you know what? Wow, $499. That seems like that's a lot of money. But you know what? Something that Tony Robbins said to me, and it's been powerful, and I've been saying it ever since, is Tony Robbins always says, and I totally agree with him, you know, it's never about your lack of resources. Money's a resource. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, what puts you inside that 1% is how resourceful you are. And that's what entrepreneurs do. It's never about the resources. It's about how resourceful you are. So the question is, if you're ready to be an entrepreneur, if you're ready to be able to start up a business with no physical location, if you're ready to start up a business with no employees, if you're ready to start up a business with no products, it's been unheard of 10 years ago for you to do this. Literally, the best bootstrap method you'll ever get and start your own business without those 3 things: location, employees, and a product. You can't find a way to be resourceful enough as an entrepreneur with $499 to get in. Chances are you're not meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Everyone out there. I need people in Uber Eats to deliver my food. I need people to wash my car. I need people to sell me clothes. I need people to work at Target, at Amazon, to deliver the products. I need all that stuff. Liz needs those people too. But something tells me that you came on this webinar today that you don't want to be a part of that rat race, that you want to be percent. It has less percent of the 1% money. If you do, show yourself how resourceful you are. Bet on yourself, because if you don't, who will? And get inside of OMG. We talked a lot about getting inside of OMG. What do you have to say to try to help nudge people to get them inside here? Because literally they have an opportunity right now to change their lives. If they don't take it right now, they might have to wait till next year, or they might forget about it and lose out on it forever and be the Uber Eats driver that delivers your wonderful food you get every night, Mike.
I actually appreciate Postmates very much. Thanks for all that, Cotton. OMG is something that's really turned into a very special experience for me. I want to give people a sense of my own motivation behind it. I'm at the point, realistically speaking, where I can retire on a modest, like if you can get by on $10,000 a month, then that's, to me, is modest. I'm at the point in my life where I can retire modestly. And so, I mean, really going to OMG Live this last year sent really a shockwave through me. We had around 1,000 people there. Everyone there had paid, whatever it is, the $1,000 ticket price. And the thing that I was left with first and foremost was that if it weren't for OMG, so many lives would be so greatly diminished, and even where it would be a tragedy if we didn't keep doing it. And so I really left OMG Live this last year with a sense of stewardship, and that's where I'm coming at. I want to see people change their stars. I grew up in a half trailer park, half low income housing development, and it was not like one of these TV shows where where there was no money but everyone had lots of love and caring and stuff like that. When money's tight, then oftentimes civility and safety flies out the window, and that's something I really keep in mind for people. Is that if you really want to change your stars, then you're going to have to do something different. Now, one of the biggest questions that we've had during this webinar is that I've been getting into my email inbox or even on Facebook is, when does it wrap up? Well, Ty Lopez went out there for you. He twisted our arms and he got us to open up OMG for this exclusive 5-day opening. It's only for Ty Lopez members. And it's still going on today, but it ends tomorrow. And so tomorrow, I assume it'll be right around midnight Eastern, we'll wrap this up and our eyes will turn to helping OMGers have incredible success. So I say, I don't think you should be in a rush today to jump in. I think that you should feel what's going on, take it in, take a deep breath, maybe write down some notes, write down some notes in your journal and think about really your vision for your 2017 and where you want to be. This time next year, it's going to be 2018, whether you join OMG or not. And life can be so different. It can be so amazing, but you're going to have to make that decision. So sleep on it, wake up in the morning, go with your gut at that point. Whatever makes sense to you. If you feel like it's time to change your stars and really join this incredible awakening that is OMG, then we welcome you inside with all of our heart. We want to see you have incredible success. What you've seen can be done from anywhere in the world. What you've seen Liz doing on Amazon, we have members doing in Germany. We have members doing in the UK. We have members doing in Japan even. It's unbelievable what is available for you on Amazon. You can always do it from America as well. What Steven's done and is doing can be done in all over the world, anywhere where there's Google, even if you have an internet connection in Antarctica. It's something that can be done by beginners, and it can be done even on an incredible bootstrap budget. But there's one thing that is a full block to success. If you come inside of OMG, then these people we've arrayed around you, with Cotton, with Liz, with Steven, with Fletch, you're meeting on this event today, the others we've discussed. It's time to listen. It's time to put your heart into it. It's time to engage and really change your stars. We can't do it for you. We can't drag you across the finish line. But if you're ready to change your stars, this is the place and now's the time. So we'll see you on the inside. And I hope that sounds fair to everybody, and
Sure.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mike. Liz, I'd like to know there's a lot of people that are probably sitting on the fence right now. What are your last words to just kind of give someone some inspiration, let them know that OMG is the right decision for them?
Cotton, I think you already said a mouthful coming from Tony Robbins, what Tony Robbins said about resources, and you pretty much summed it up really nicely. If it's a matter of resources, they're going to need to figure it out for themselves. It's doable. It's definitely doable. It's $500 a month. I know for a lot of people that's a lot of money, but really, I'm going to take another quote from actually Tony Robbins here, since you already started off. But Tony Robbins said something to the effect of, people typically overestimate what they can do in the short term, and they underestimate what they can do in the long term. And for me, if you think about the commitment that you have to make when you join OMG, you're making a 16-month commitment to OMG. And really, if you think about what you can accomplish, Mike just talked about $10,000 a month, him being able to retire on that. To a lot of people, that's a lot more than modest. That's life-changing. Most of the people out there, the average American makes $3,000 to $4,000 a month. $10,000 a month is game-changing and life-changing for the average American. So if you really think about what you can do within that 16 months, I think you're going to be quite surprised that you're going to underestimate what you're capable of doing within that 16-month period, especially when you have a set of mentors, and that OMG has 6 coaches, not even including Mike and David, but 6 coaches that Ty Lopez himself relies on. As you saw some of the shots that Mike shared with you, Ty Lopez reached out to me to mentor him inside of Amazon. I literally was showing him with my computer product selection. That's the very same product selection technique that I'm going to show you that gave me those 2 Grand Slam products. And really, if you think about in your future, in that 16th month period, you're just as capable as me or my team was to have 2 amazing products that literally, they blew the roof off of Amazon. Amazon couldn't imagine how in the hell just little old me from El Paso, Texas, could literally do that inside of their search engine, that they had to literally suspend me and then investigate exactly how I done that. And you guys will be very surprised that the exact same training I'm going to give to you, exactly what we did. And again, my team is not by any means scholars or PhDs. These are guys, none of them have a college degree, Cotton. So they're just 3 average, everyday, normal guys. They like to drink beer. They like to party. They like to do all the same things that you guys like to do, but with one key difference. They had my template in hand, and they took it and they ran with it, and they trusted the system, and they never looked back and look at what they were able to do for me. Now imagine what you can do in those 16 months for your life and your family.
Amazing stuff, Liz. Remember what Liz says. Get Liz inside of OMG. If what you've said today kind of gets you excited, then I really want you to get on. Steven, last words. What can you do to help decide people to get in?
Boy, I tell you what, Cotton, between what you've already said and Mike and Liz, I don't think I've got a lot to add. I think everybody has the information that they need to make the decision. They're on this webinar. They've stayed through. We're, 2 hours, almost 3 hours in. If you're still here, there's a reason that you're still here. I would want to add that I want to make sure that everybody knows that regardless of where you're at now, skill level wise, we are ready for you. I was just thinking about this while Liz was talking about, my main motivation for being a part of OMG now is a pay it forward thing. I get to lead an exceptional life. And I want other people to kind of live the life that I have. We talked about Lamborghinis, and we talked about, things like that. And those are awesome. Super awesome. Those are great. It's also great to buy your mom a house, right? It's also great to, to be able to help, people that don't have food to get food, right? To give to charities and things like that. So, when you come in here and you do the hard work, then you become someone who is powerful, and you become someone who not only can take care of yourself, but you can take care of other people. Instead of worrying about paying your mortgage this month or paying for, your rent, your apartment, you can help other people pay theirs. Once you have money, you have a lot of power to be able to make change and to help a lot of people, not just yourself, So, I was thinking about this, I have 2 girls. And I was thinking about when they first learned how to ride a bike, and, just that little bit of work and that little bit of push. And I remember how I felt, the first time they just kind of took off. And that's a very similar feeling that I get when someone in OMG comes to me and says, hey, Steven, in this many months, we've gone from, living paycheck to paycheck to now, my wife can stay home with our children. Or hey, Steven, I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I hated leaving them at, daycare every day. And now, 4 months into OMG, now I can stay at home and be with my kids. It's just that feeling is just, it's overwhelming. And so it's just such a blessing to be part of the group, and just know that we want it for you. We're not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work. But if you're willing to get on the bike, if you're willing to pedal, if you're willing to have faith that we're going to lead you in the right direction, then you can have everything that we're talking about you having. Again, we're not all geniuses and trust fund babies or anything like that. We're just normal people like you, and we want to see you on the inside. So I hope everybody watching joins, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Stephen. Last but not least, we've heard from a couple times. Fletch, any last words to help people make a decision?
I think everything's been said, gotten. Not everything, but enough. OMG to me, it didn't really make as much sense when I bought it as it does now. Like looking back over it, what it's brought me, what it's helped teach me, what it's helped make me, makes sense of a lot of my life leading up to that. It answers a lot of the questions I had about, why did these people that I had around me seem to do so much better in life than I had up to that point? Why it seemed like I put so much effort into certain things, they didn't work, and other things just seemed to work without effort at all. And, OMG helped kind of clear that out a lot better than I had an understanding for up until I joined when I was, 38 years old. I thought I had a lot of knowledge and life experience, and I did, but there was something that was missing. And in all likelihood, if you're on this webinar, there's probably something you're still looking for. And if you're anything like me or probably anybody else on this webinar or any people you've seen testimonials from, in all likelihood, it's in OMG. So that means you're one of us. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the inside as well.
Thank you, Fletch.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to leave you is this. You've heard a lot of us talk about the perfect process. You've heard us a lot talk about process. Well, one thing I want to share with you is a process is literally something that everyone sometimes spend their whole lives looking for. You've seen work at home ads. You've seen work at home progress. You've seen all of these ads everywhere your whole life. You can make money from home, make this, make that. People consistently, and these people make money, but not long-term. Definitely not the 5 years that OMG's been in there. You spend your whole life looking for that perfect process. One, people go to college to find a process. They end up with a degree and a job that they hate. A dead end with the ceiling income that they can't break through. What I'm telling you now is that we've helped thousands and thousands of people find their perfect process, where they're able to work for themselves and not spend that time helping someone else live out their dream. If you're working for someone right now, you're helping them build their dream. What we want to do is we want to share our process with you so you can start to build your dream. And that's what it's all about. Maybe you're listening right now because you've been searching for that process for a long time. I know I was. And once I found that perfect process, I literally never stopped. So what I'm saying is just think about it. If you're on the webinar still and listening, this is the right process for you. It's helped too many people for it not to be. It's only $499 on 16-month pay. Like I said, click on the link that's directly below the video. We will enjoy having you in, and those are my last words. We look forward to seeing you on the inside. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. And thanks, Ty Lopez, for having us on. You guys have a wonderful weekend. See you soon.